What is going on, everyone? And welcome to the XP Podcast, episode 10 for Tuesday, May 10th. I'm one of your hosts, Mike C., also known as Gamers Erectus, and as always, joining me, my co-host, the Birdman himself, which we learned last week is only because second graders can't say 4 words. Logan B., what's up, my dude?
I guess you could start calling me Elden Lord from now on.
I'm never going to call you that.
Get to that point soon enough, but
I'm never going to call you that.
What's up, everybody? Very exciting week. Not sure on the news yet, but yeah, I'm really excited to get right into it.
It's good to know that somebody's ready for the show here. Well, let's see. As you know through our Snapchats, I finally got a chance to try the new hard Mountain Dew.
I'm very jealous because I've been wanting to try that. But it's only in Tennessee, Florida, and somewhere else.
Well, don't worry, we got you a pack. I can say now that I'm actually drinking my last new flavor right now. I'm drinking the black cherry right now.
Okay.
And the Baja Blast is a major letdown. The rest of them. And okay, well maybe I have to go back to the Baja Blast because I don't know, I had my hype so high for this, and my Peyton blames me for having too high hopes, and I was like, look, listen, it is an alcoholic zero sugar Mountain Dew. I don't think my hype could be any higher. It's not my fault. It's their fault. They made this thing. And when I first took it,
I think it'd be really good. Think it would taste.
Here's the thing.
Close.
It is good. But when I first took a drink, I was like, oh, it's nothing spectacular. It's not like blowing me away or anything, which I guess that's completely unfair to the drink, that I expected it to be like the next revolution in alcoholic beverages, which it's not, but that's what I wanted from it. So, but as I've drank some of the other ones, I've had a couple more here and there. The regular one's pretty good. And it tastes, it just got this weird combination. Like, you know, I expected it to be like, you know, Mountain Dew and Jack, which is like one of my favorite drinks of all time. And that tastes really good. And like that sweet.
Jack?
Oh, yeah, dude. Mountain Jack? Mountain Jack's the best thing ever.
Mountain Dew and vodka is where you need to go.
No, okay. Here's a little secret. You can look this up. You realize Jack Daniels was actually originally developed to be in Mountain Dew. That's a fact.
Cause,
you can look that up.
The original Mountain Dew was originally supposed to be a chaser.
Yeah. So, well, like it's the sweetness. If you want to get real crazy, Mountain Dew and Jack Honey. It's like this.
Interesting.
Oh, dude, it's so good. It's just super, super sweet, but not overpoweringly sweet drink. Now, granted, I don't drink regular soda anymore. I don't really drink soda anymore, but anyway, I can't wait for you to come down next weekend. Well, wait, no, 2 weekends. By the way, those of you out there, we will get to record for the first time a in-person podcast. Both Logan and I are in the same room talking with each other, so that could either go really good or really bad, but look forward to that. So, but other than that, it's been a good week, you know. Got a lot of gaming done, watched a new movie that we'll talk about. But before we move on, as always, we start the episode off with a question. Now, this one's a little different. It's not a gaming question. It's something that I randomly saw on TikTok, go figure, and I asked Peyton about it, and my parents about it, and Peyton's parents about it, so now we're going to go to you. What are there more of on this planet? Legs or eyes? Logan, the Birdman Leffler. What is your philosophical answer to this? Because I have a rebuttal for everything you say.
I guess I would say there's more eyes on the planet than legs.
Okay. Why?
I say that because even if people are blind or etc., they still have eyes, but people that have no legs, well, they don't have legs. So I would say there's more eyes on the planet because most people, I would say a good portion of the world, probably still has their eyes. Some of them may not work, but they all have eyes. But legs, on the other hand, I say they wouldn't have legs because, well, clearly they've either lost it or etc. So I believe there are more eyes on the planet for that reason.
Are you forgetting about the quantity of animals that have 4 legs and 2 eyes?
Hmm. That's true.
And then the devil's advocate to that, a fly has only, I think, are they arms? I guess it's only 2 legs and like 100 eyes. And then the fish in the ocean, all of them don't have legs, and they all have eyes, multiple eyes. But like a spider has 8 legs and like 8 eyes, and then a centipede has 100 legs. It's like I don't know what the right answer is. I backed myself into a wall this weekend thinking about this, man. I couldn't answer my own question. I kept contradicting myself every time I thought about it. There's so many there's so many ways you could go. And then Peyton was like, well, "What about the legs on a chair?" I was like, "Okay, I'm not counting those.
Yeah, that's not real
That's a
legs.
dumb response. Yeah, I'm talking
Yeah.
non-inanimate objects here. We're talking about animals, creatures, things that can move.
I mean, you'd have to like look up all the animals in the world that like how many legs there are, and like with each animal, and that's a lot. And you got to think of all that, and then you also got to think of how many eyes for each one, and then that would be that'd be pretty insane. If I still had had to go on the whim or limb, haha, get it? I would say
No, I don't get it. Well, it's funny.
eyes. I was saying get it had to go out without a limb. I got it.
I don't.
It's
I don't get
what?
it. I don't
Okay,
get
well
it. What's
never
funny?
mind.
I'm just kidding. I totally get it.
Uh,
If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is the XP Podcast, our weekly video game and pop culture news podcast where two, sometimes more, dudes, that is, I forgot to say that word, sit down with y'all and talk about all the news stories and happenings inside and out of the video game world. Let me tell you what, that sentence was rough. We posted each episode. Oh my god, we post a new episode each and every Tuesday so you can listen to it throughout your work week. You can find us on most of the popular podcasting services, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more to come. If you enjoy what we're doing here, please support us on our Patreon where you can be a part of our weekly discussions and give us your opinions on everything we talk about and everything we don't. You'll also be able to find all of our uploads there, along with any exclusive episodes we may post. Links for that, as always, are in the description down below. If you don't have any money to send our way, however, don't worry. We still love and appreciate you for listening to us and being a part of our growing community. We have to take this time to always thank our Platinum members, Logan Leffler, for this month. Thank you very much for your generous donation and support in the Experience Point and the XP Podcast. If for some reason you want to see our shiny faces, stay tuned. We're still working on it. Sorry. However, you can go over to YouTube where you can go over to our YouTube channel where you can get this show and all of our shows in full video format. If you do, please don't forget to give us a like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification icon so you can be aware of everything we post when we decide to post it. With all that out of the way, let's get into the show. In our point of the show this week, we bring you our review discussion for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Logan and I both saw it this weekend, and we got a lot of stuff to say about that. Then, in the news, we talk about is Square going back to its Japanese root? Activision's blaming World War II, and Snapchat has a new drone. But before we get to all that, as always, it's time for What You've Been Doing, where we catch up on all things pop culture that we've been doing, whether that be gaming, TV shows, movies, books, and or comics. It doesn't matter to us because we're nerds and we love it all. With all that said, Logan, the Birdman Bergman, what have you been doing?
As many of you probably already heard from the beginning, I am now officially the Elden Lord. I have beaten.
There's no trademark for that, folks. Don't
Yeah,
listen
no,
to
no.
him.
I have beaten Elden Ring.
Woo!
I hit exactly 80 hours,
Weak
and I beat
sauce.
it. In which I literally started right after that New Game Plus. And
Question:
I
do you
already
have the platinum?
no.
Then it's not beat.
I'm not even gonna try for the
It's
platinum.
not beat then.
I actually went on my way too to beat all the story bosses, so it wasn't like I skipped anything. I mean, the only thing I skipped was maybe two side bosses I couldn't really get to because I didn't do quests. But I did do all the story main bosses in the game. That even includes the hardest boss of the game, Melina or Melina. I can't even say her name. Um, And soon I will have a review written out for it. But spoiler alert, I absolutely freaking loved this game. So can't wait to really do the review on it because I have a lot to say. And yeah. But other than that, I
Interjecting real
also.
quick on the
Mhm.
topic of reviews, for those of you that are wondering, we finally got around to recording the Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga review. That will be posted along with this episode of the XP Podcast. So go over to our YouTube and our Patreon pages if you want to hear our full in-depth opinion. We talk for about an hour and a half about the game, and then give it a review and rankings. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. And then let's see, what other games have I been playing this week? I got back to A Wolf Among Us. I literally just beat episode 2 last night. So I really love it. It's really good so far. It's really interesting, and I really like all the mystery behind what's going on. And I can't wait to beat it. I just gotta stop myself from wanting to play more Elden Ring and actually beat other games. And I already beat Elden Ring, so yeah. So I think that's really it. Other than I also have been playing a lot more Switch Sports too this week. Still liking it a lot. I actually tried the Sword Sport this week as well, and it's insanely fun. It's like really really fun actually. um, I've been loving the game, and maybe at some point we don't have to do an actual full review for the game because it's not that deep. Maybe we could do a short little thing at some point
Yeah, I
where I'll
mean,
talk about it, maybe
I'd
get a
write it
quick
up.
review on it
I'd write
because
up.
it's not
Yeah.
like it's not that deep. It doesn't need to be like a
But
whole.
still,
Yeah,
write something
yeah,
up, put a score on it. We'll talk about it in a point of the show.
yeah. I'd be down for that.
So,
But yeah, so I've been doing that, playing Wolf Among Us, um, and also spoiler alert. Obviously, yeah, I really like both of them, and yeah, I'm not gonna write a review for Wolf Among Us since that game is pretty old.
but we're gonna
But
do a
I'll tell you,
retrospective. Remember?
Oh yeah, we
Well,
could. Yeah, yeah, you're right.
that's
Yeah, you're
literally the
right.
point of me telling you to play the game, so
Yeah,
we could do a
it's true. It's
retrospective
true.
review.
Okay, well we'll do a retrospective on it. So yeah, that's
Any?
I think that's it for games this week.
I was gonna
I
say any
think.
TV shows. Oh no, it's not it
Oh
for
wait,
games
wait.
because
There's another game we've been playing, me and
you
Mike.
yeah, I finally got this man to download Century Age of Ashes, and he raged in the second game.
No, third game.
Third game, sorry.
Yeah, that's because we joined a lobby of the most try-hard people,
Hey,
and we
but you know
got
what?
decimated.
Yeah,
Was the word.
but hey, to be fair, that first game we decimated people.
Yeah, we
So,
did.
I
We did.
mean,
Yeah, and it's fun.
as I've
It's
been
just hard.
as as I've been playing it throughout the week, I've actually learned quite a bit. There's a lot of nuance within. There's only like 4 different modes that you can play. There's skirmish. There's I don't remember any of them. Oh, skirmish, carnage, and skirmish is just carnage except half the players. And then there's the spoils of war, which is the main one that I play or the main one that I queue into. Um, and then there's another one that we haven't got to yet, but
Yeah, and
um,
every day of the week they change up one of the selections to something new, like a new game mode.
yeah.
I mean I liked the team deathmatch one. That one was really fun. I don't know if I liked the capture the gold
Oh,
kind of
dude,
game mode.
let me tell
I
you,
feel like that was the least interactive one in my
no.
opinion.
When
But
I'm telling you, when I started playing it, there's so much depth to that. There's the bombs, there's the keys, there's the collecting, there's the killing, there's the streaks when you get into it. There's once you actually start learning how to use your dragon's powers in conjunction with your teammates. I actually the other day I was playing with some guys and I was telling them like, yeah, I'm pretty new to the game. I'm wanting to play. You know, this is kind of my play style. What can I do? And they're like, oh, you should do this dragon and then combo it with his secondary special. And apparently the game is very deep without looking very deep. It just has a lot of gameplay driven depth where, the more you play it, the more you learn about the map itself and the more you learn about the game mode and the different aspects of that game mode, then the better you can get at it. And yeah, that guy that absolutely destroyed us. What was his name? I don't remember, but he
yeah, I
he
have no
was
idea.
what do you have, like 24 deaths, 24 kills, 0 deaths?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
I'm pretty
rough,
sure it's
man.
about yeah.
It was not fun. But I mean, I
And then
still
our
enjoyed
one
it.
teammate was kind of like the only one that got kills that entire match. Like I think he got like 6 kills that
Yeah,
match.
and then also we were 2 players down, so
Yeah, it
yeah,
was
it was an
nuts.
all around bad. But as I've played more and more, I haven't played too much more. I've maybe played a couple hours more, but I hope you stick with it. I hope we can still get on and play some. I really like it. I don't love it, but I think it's something fun that we can do for an hour, 2 hours a week, whenever we want to sit down and go through a couple matches and just have a good time. I will say, it sucks that there's no in-game voice chat. Sorry, party chat, which is a little annoying. There is voice chat in Team, but there's no like, we can't party up with you and me and just talk to each other. It's
Oh
weird.
yeah.
It's dumb, very dumb. So, but that's what Discord's for. But all right. So, any TV shows? I know you watch one movie, but we'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah, we'll talk about the one movie we'll bring up in a second, but let's see. Shows. Been watching Attack on Titan. I got through most of the season 1.
Oh, it's so good, dude.
Uh it's really really good so far.
Oh,
Liking it a lot.
it's so
Um
fantastic.
I stayed up till like 3 in the morning watching and I don't remember. I know where I ended off, but I don't want to say anything just in case if anyone else hasn't watched it. But it's really good so far, and I like it a lot. And it's definitely my style of show, and I like it a lot. It's got that very like world ending vibe, and I like that. Um, so yeah, that's pretty good. And then I know I was watching something. I watched. Well, I didn't watch the next episode of Halo yet, but I did. Well, I watched episode 6, which I don't know if I talked about last time.
No, you said you hadn't watched it
Um,
yet.
yeah,
Back to
it's
normal, huh?
turned right back to normal, and I'm like, great. And from what I heard, episode 7 is worse. It just gets worse. So I'm gonna watch the whole show, finish it, but
I'll watch it sooner or
I'm
later.
not gonna lie, I'm not excited. But I'm gonna watch it
Maybe I'll
because
watch it when I get in Halo mode when we manage to play co-op for the game.
oh, I know.
Maybe I'll be in
Yeah,
Halo mode there.
I'd be down. Which also, if they actually come out with crossplay for all the other Halo games, we can always play some of those too. That'd be pretty cool. Because I know they did add crossplay to I think Halo 1, so now you can play PC and Xbox together on Halo 1,
I
which
have
is
an
pretty cool.
I have an idea of something that I want to do, but it requires a lot of production values, and I don't know if your computer can handle that yet. But there is something I want to do, but I'll tell you about that later.
Okay.
So
And then I think that's it for shows. We were gonna start Moon Knight, but I didn't have enough time this week to start it.
yeah,
Which hopefully this week will be the week I can start it
we'll see.
and hopefully finish it. So we'll see.
We'll see by next
Um,
weekend. It may be
yeah,
the week after that. My schedule got pretty jumbled this week for clients, but
that's fair. But yeah, I
anything
think
else?
that's about it.
All
I think
right.
that's about it for this week. So,
Well, I am now just eclipsed the 40-hour mark in Cyberpunk. Um,
ooh,
yeah, I mean, I haven't done too much of the story, honestly. I know that it's super short, so I'm trying to just like hold off on doing the missions, even though I know you can after you complete the game, it kicks you back to before you do the last mission. So I know there's no real reason to not do it, but I talked about last week how I was searching for something to grab a hold of. And I found it. And it's the Badland areas. I don't know what it is. It's just my brain when it comes to open world games. When I move out of cities and I go into more open areas, for some reason it's more interesting to me. I like the Badlands. I like the outskirts of the city. Um,
I
earlier
agree with that. Those
earlier
parts are really cool.
Yeah, earlier today I was driving to it's that bridge off to the bottom right hand side that you actually go under the water, which was really cool to experience for the first time when I looked up and I saw you were under the water. And I popped out that bridge, and it was the first time I'd been over in that area, and I was driving to do one of the races for Claire. And I looked off to my left, and there was a big old amusement park. And I was like, oh, what the fuck? That's cool. It was really just like a ride and a Ferris wheel. So I stopped, went over there, and then there's this huge gunfight that happens over there. There's an NCPD, massive gunfight that was actually difficult. It was like the first time I truly been challenged in the game. And yeah, that was really cool. And I really felt like I was a part of the world there. Like I just saw something in the distance. I said, I want to go check that out. And then it was this huge event that just, once I walked up to it, the police called me and it's like, hey, take out this group of people. And I was like, whoa, that was cool because like it wasn't a designated location on the map that I would just go to. It just happened naturally. And that was really, really cool. I really enjoyed that. But my problems are still, now granted, one thing I will say is that the game is running a lot better now. I haven't really had many hiccups or any real massive visual glitches. The game still feels like it's being held together by duct tape and prayers at all times. Like it feels like at any point in time I can drive around a corner and the game will just completely just go kaputs on me. Like it just has that feeling, as you're driving, things are popping in, and it just it just has this feeling that every time I, start a new mission or anything, I do something, something's going to go wrong and the game's going to completely blow up on me, which is not a good feeling to play, but I am enjoying it. I do like it. Pan Am is fucking hot. Let me say that.
Oh yes,
She's a very attractive character. Um, so yeah, I want to save most of my in-depth opinions, like on the writing and the story and other things like that. I am taking pretty extensive notes because you know me, I love narratives and I love stories, so that's the stuff that I take notes on. But I am also noticing gameplay stuff here and there. The level up system is needlessly convoluted. I will say that. It feels like the build that I want to do is just not possible. It takes too many points to be able to put together all parts of the build that I want, which is kind of annoying, but also I get it. It's limited in that way for a reason. And other than that, that's just what I've been doing. I've been said pretty much any chance I get, I'm either watching a certain TV show that I'm about to talk about or I'm playing Cyberpunk. So I am excited to go back and keep playing it though. I'm excited to get done, and I think I'm set myself up pretty well to go ahead and hit that platinum. I'm saving up skill points to create a backup save that I can do some of the other trophies pretty quickly. Because you need certain points and attributes to like craft legendary weapons, but I don't want to spend all those points in the technology tree to be able to do that and then ruin the rest of my gameplay. So I'm saving up 10 skill points so I can allocate everywhere I need to do to be able to unlock those trophies. So I think I'm set up for the platinum. I've set myself up pretty well for that. And then I think I'm gonna go for it. I don't know. And then of course you got to save scum the end so you can get all the endings. But I think I'm gonna go
that's
for it,
what I
man.
did.
Yeah. So just go back and do the endings. Unfortunately, I did get two of the endings spoiled for me as I was trying to figure out how to, what all the trophies were, and I wasn't trying to look at the description of them, but like I scrolled on my phone, and then when I stopped to see how far I was, I literally read the first sentence. I was like, fuck, damn it.
Oof.
So I got one of them spoiled, which go figure, it's the one that I'm going to do because it's the one that I want to happen. So that's annoying. But I didn't get anything else spoiled. Just like the main decision or the main thing that happens at the end of the story. But like the nuances and everything and like what happens to each of the characters outside of that, I don't know. But I do know the certain aspects that can happen. But anyway, that's no big deal. I did finish the Della main side quest, by the way. Spoiler alert, what'd you do? Did you set him free or did you... What'd you do
I
there?
set him free.
Like you rebooted him back to the beginning?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I did that. I did that at first, and then I wasn't satisfied, so I reloaded to save, and then I was like, well, let me look up what the other ones were, and the other ones kind of sucked, so I just went back to doing the original one. They didn't suck. It just all ended up. You just get a car at the end of it. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, yeah, I know you're talking about.
So, but other than that, TV show. I started watching a show I've been wanting to watch for a long time. I've just been waiting till it was getting closer to the end, and the final season comes out in exactly 1 month. So I decided to start it up, and that is Peaky Blinders. Let me tell you something, Logan. This show is fucking cool,
Oh, you don't even know. People at my work talk about it
dude.
all the
It
time.
is so good. God, is it so good. I love period pieces. It's not my favorite thing in movies and TV shows, but I do really enjoy a good period piece. And not only is this show acted spectacularly, it's written very well. It reminds me a lot of early Game of Thrones seasons where it takes its time setting everything up and it's all building to a crescendo at the end of the season. It's scripted and paced very similar to the first 4 or 5 Game of Thrones seasons, where the first couple episodes are just it's setting up everything else, and there's always like well, at least the first 2 seasons, there's always a 2-year jump in between seasons. So like a season ends and it jumps forward 2 years, and then you get this whole other circumstance of events that take place with these characters. But let me tell you what, man, I got so addicted, I watched 2 seasons in 2 days because they're only 6 episodes. So, but I was ripping through.
Season?
Yeah, it's only 6 episodes.
Dang.
Okay. I mean, they're hour-long episodes, but man, I was ripping through these episodes. I just couldn't stop.
Jeez.
And then this weekend I did a lot of yard work, and so we went to the movies, watched Doctor Strange, had my anniversary dinner, which got screwed up. Not the actual dinner itself. The money accompanied with the dinner got screwed up, but
Oh, okay.
we had a gift card for $40. And so we were like, we kind of splurged a little bit. Cause I'm like, whatever. So we ended up, the final total was 57. So like, $17 for all that. That's fine. But then our waiter messed up ringing it up. So he comes back. He's like, so I slid the gift card and it didn't go through, but I didn't look to see if it went through or not. So when I slid the card, it charged all 57 to the card. And Peyton and I were like, whatever, man, fine. So we didn't argue it or anything. I didn't feel like arguing. I just wanted to get going and get to the movie. So I was like, whatever. Our $17 meal turned into a $67 meal with tip, but whatever.
That's fair.
It was good though, man. I got the filet medallions on a bed of rice. The rice sucked, but the fillets, dude, they were fire.
What's the name of the place?
It's Texas Roadhouse.
Oh, Texas Roadhouse.
I said that, didn't I? Did I not say that?
No, I thought you just said at what restaurant you went to. I didn't hear the Texas Roadhouse part.
Maybe I didn't say it, but I thought I did. But anyway, yes, it's Texas Roadhouse that we went to. That's
okay.
My sister's a manager there, so I get gift cards pretty regularly. So
Ooh, okay.
yeah, pretty fancy. Actually, when my parents come down, they eat there for they get half off of everything. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Dude, it's super nice. So whenever my parents come down, I just get like a super cheap. Well, not that I would pay for it anyway, but I get a super cheap meal. Exactly $0. But
that's the cheapest I can get.
Yeah. So I don't think any. Oh yeah, we did watch a movie last night. I finally got around to watching the new Mortal Kombat movie.
Oh, you finally watched it?
Finally, it took me a long time. Let me tell you something. That thing sucked.
Yeah, no, I know. It was
it wasn't nearly as, I don't know about disappointing. I didn't really exactly have high hopes for it. It wasn't nearly as bad as the old ones, because I come from knowing the old ones, the Annihilation, especially the original one. It was nowhere near as bad. It was actually produced well, but man, they were just trying so hard to be at one time be cool and edgy and obviously gory and graphic, which they achieved. I liked a lot of some of the finishes they did, but then when characters would look at the screen and be like, flawless victory, and I'm like, oh my god, come on now. I kind of smiled because of how cheesy it was. Like, I didn't hate that stuff, but that's not my biggest complaint. My biggest complaint was just the writing and the story was terrible. It was absolutely awful, and I still have no clue who the main character was. He's as far as my knowledge goes, which I've played a lot of them, he's not a character in the game. He's made up for the movie.
No, I know. I had no idea who it was too. It really. I'm like, who is this guy?
And, yeah, the whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, all right, who's this guy become? Has he become Scorpion? And which is what I thought he would become. Like, this is a weird take for Scorpion. Like, he's never really the good guy. He's kind of like an anti-hero-esque in the actual story of Mortal Kombat. He's just out for revenge against Sub-Zero. But then, no, his dad comes back and he's Scorpion, and this guy's got a gold suit of armor that looks really dumb, and he's got what are those martial art things called on his arms? I don't know, but yeah, he's called Cody. He's called Cody, and I was like, the fuck? Because the whole hour and 58-minute runtime, I'm trying to figure like, who does this guy turn into? It's got to be Scorpion, right? And nope, it's just some dude we've never played for, has no connection to the source material, and Scorpion just happens to be his dad who died 1,000 years ago, or hundreds of years ago.
Yeah, they definitely did not do a good job on Scorpion's outfit. I think it looked horrible.
Uh,
Compared, like Sub Zero looked pretty good, but Scorpion, no, it just looked weird. I mean, the main character's outfit looked really dumb too. It looked horrible.
and
What was it? It
also,
was like a bodysuit, and they just had like two batons, if I
yeah,
remember right.
batons.
Or something.
That's what I couldn't come up
Yeah.
with earlier. And also, what, dude? I was so mad. They made Goro a massive little bitch in this movie. And
Oh yeah, yeah.
Goro, I don't know how much Mortal Kombat you've played. I've played most of
Oh,
the
I
camp.
played
I
quite a
played
bit.
most. Yeah, I played most of the campaigns, especially the rebooted campaigns. I played all of them. And dude, Goro's a little dude. He's so hard. Goro is rough to beat. And then Shao Kahn's nowhere to be seen. And they used the Shang Tsung storyline, which wasn't even apparent for the first 35 minutes of the story because they never said his name. So I'm like, man, this is a really weird interpretation of Shao Kahn. And
Yeah.
then they say Shang Tsung, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes more sense that he's weird, but I mean, that's not a good Shang Chun, whatever the hell you say his name. Anyway, it's not a fantastic movie. I will say that, but it also wasn't horrible. I didn't hate it. I rolled my eyes through 95% of it, but it's one of those movies that it's bad, but it's not bad enough to be like horrendously terrible. You know,
Yeah, I thought it
it's
was.
just not
I gave
good.
it like an average. Like it's average. I think it's
Oh,
good
I,
and exciting.
I gave it like a 2 out of 5. I thought it was like way below average, but like it's not awful, is what I'm saying. Like
I wasn't bored, so
no, I
that
wasn't
makes me
bored.
feel like it was. I was interested the whole way through.
I
It
rolled.
was-
I said through most of it because it was all
Oh yeah,
just
it's
so
cringy, but I
it's
kind of
written
figured it was
terribly.
gonna be cringy because if it wasn't cringy, then it isn't Motor Combat because there's like
Yeah,
all the
true.
cringe.
And the Johnny Cage tease at the end was cool, and I'm like, ah, unfortunately they'll never get to do another one. I love Johnny Cage. He's the biggest douche character that I've ever liked.
Exactly.
He's so douchey, but you like him because he's douchey. All right. Anything else, man? You want to talk about?
No.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was what you'd be doing. Please go to our Patreon, go to our YouTube channel, watch this video, and then tell us what you've been doing throughout the week, each and every week. We will read them, we will respond to them, and please give us your opinions, whether that be good or bad. We like to hear them. Moving on now, let's go to point of the show, and this week's topic is Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Both Logan and myself have seen the movie. I saw it Friday night. He saw it sometime Friday. And now we're going to sit down and I'm going to give you a decently in-depth review about our opinions. We've had a couple days to sit on the movie and think about what we think. Think about what we think. Think about how we feel about it. And I'm going to put a score on it at the end. Logan, you can do the same if you want to. So let's get into Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I would like to start with a question to you.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about this earlier. We're now 5, 6, however many things into Phase 4. Where is this going? I have no clue where this is going.
I have no idea. Like it seems like they try to go in the direction and then they're just not really putting it together. It almost seems like they're just kind of making random movies and
Yeah.
trying
It
to
seems
connect
like
something together.
it seems very DC at points right now, which is fine, I
Yeah.
guess. Like I love DC movies. Well, okay, let me take that back. I like some of them, and then some of them are named Wonder Woman 84, and I don't like those.
Yeah.
But it just, to me, right now, after Endgame, and yes, we've had some good movies. We've had Shang-Chi. We've had, obviously, No Way Home. We've had fantastic movies sprinkled in between. But I just don't have a sense or a feeling of where the MCU is going. It's like they closed out the Infinity Saga, and then they're just like, okay, well, where do we go now? And it just feels like we're kind of driving on a back road, and we're kind of lost. We're still looking for the main road. We can't find the highway to get us to where we're going. The MCU just feels kind of aimless right now, and that's unfortunate because it's always been like very direct. We've known each movie builds on each other, whether that be introducing a new character that builds on the mythos, or a sequel comes out and it adds in a character here and there. It builds on the mythos and all that, and we just haven't really had that in Phase 4 yet. I mean, yeah, Doctor Strange was in No Way Home, but well, big old spoiler warning, skipped forward 30 seconds. I mean, he's in there just essentially to reset the character of Spider-Man. It doesn't
Well, it's not
mean
much of a spoiler because it's in the trailer, so they know Doctor Strange is in there.
no, what I just said. I said
Oh,
his point of being in there is to reset the character of Spider-Man.
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's not a
So,
spoiler.
yeah. Okay, no more spoilers unless we say something. But so that doesn't really count as like a crossover that builds on the MCU in any meaningful capacity, you know. But I guess that's more of an overall critique of the MCU in its current state over the past couple years. So, what did you think about Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness? Unless you want to talk about the MCU as well.
um, I mean, honestly, there's not a lot to say about the MCU right now. It's kind of unknown. Um, I don't know if they've been having something planned and it's been hidden in our face all along, or what. But it's just been kind of like I don't know. Like it's like you watch all the shows. Like I've been watching everything, so I keep up with everything. I know where the story is, even if I don't. I'm not excited to watch it. I'm watching it because they're all important. They all connect in some way or form. But as of right now, the only thing that I've really seen kind of push forward is actually Shang-Chi. Because at the end, if spoiler alert, uh, there's there's a end credit scene where he meets up with what I assume is now the Avengers, because I had Captain Marvel and who was the second person? Oh, it was Hulk. Yeah. And they were all there, and they're all talking. And they were talking about like something big, happening and something like that, or they're trying to figure something out. And that's it. I mean, all I again know, spoiler alert again, because it's gonna be a lot of spoilers. So I guess if you don't want to hear about this, you might want to skip a little bit ahead. But it's kind of like I mean, like all I know for a fact right now is that the multiverse is the big thing they're pushing right now, and that's all I know. But I don't know what the main point of it is, other than just to be there. Because there's been three things now about the multiverse,
Yeah.
so
I
I
mean,
don't know.
we've gotten some teasers, like at the end of Far From Home, we see that Fury's in space, and obviously there's the idea that he's building out maybe Secret Wars or different things like that to go along with the Avengers. The Avengers are obviously expanding throughout the universe and or throughout the multiverse. Um, so like we've gotten little hints and all that, like here and there, but again, it's just to me, it just if they do have a plan, maybe it's about time we'd learn because like you and I, we went back and we looked at the upcoming movies, and it's like we got 2 years, 2 to 3 years, and it doesn't seem like anything's going anywhere still. With these movies that come out, there's no conjoining point to them. There's some introductory TV shows, there's some introductory movies, there's a couple sequels coming out. Um, but still, there's no get together film. There's no introduction. Maybe maybe like in the Marvels or something, they come out and we are going to be fighting. I don't know. Oh my god, I can't think of the name. The freaking people from the Eternals.
Um, the Eternals.
No, not the heroes. The other people.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure those things are Sentinels, not Sentinels. Dang, what are they
Yeah,
called?
but
Elden something or not Elden
no,
something? I don't know what they're called.
no.
Celestial.
Celestials. Like maybe we're
Yeah.
building up to fighting the Celestials, but like, what does that look like? And I don't know. Okay. Done with the spoilers of the MCU. It feels weird right now. I want some answers. I want a direction. I want to know where this thing is going and where this is heading to and what we're building to. Um so spoilers are done. Let's get into Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Logan, let me start off with you. What did you think? Your overall impressions of the movie, and then we can go into details. No spoilers, obviously.
So no spoilers. Okay.
Yeah, no spoilers for the movie that came out 2 days ago. We can spoil a movie that came out last year, but
uh, I think it is a good to sum it up. I think it's a good movie, but it's not a great or amazing movie. That's how I feel about it. I don't dislike it. I enjoyed it, but I didn't find it as good as I was hoping it to be, I guess. Um I guess it just I was expecting more and ended up just not really doing a lot in my opinion. And I'm not talking about just for the MCU, but I just feel like the storyline was kind of weird and didn't really do much. So, and obviously, I don't even think the villain altogether was really that exciting. So, I think it's a good movie, and I kind of want to rewatch it again, which I'm gonna say a score today, but I kind of want to rewatch it and reevaluate what I thought about it because I'm not gonna lie, I haven't seen a movie like this in a long while where it's made me feel like I don't know what I want to feel about it. Like I still don't know if I want to say I liked it or I disliked it, and that's where I'm putting it in the middle almost. Where I think it's well, not middle. It's definitely above average, but I think it's like it's good, just not great or
Yeah,
amazing.
which again, like we talked about, I think maybe yesterday or 2 days ago, is fine for an MC movie to be okay.
Yeah,
Like
and I'm not saying
we've
it's
gotten
bad. It's not
spoiled
bad in
by,
any way or form.
yeah, we've gotten spoiled by the epics that are some of the MCU movies out there. Your No Way Homes, your Infinity Wars, your Ragnaroks. For me, your Winter Soldiers. But like we've gotten spoiled by those, and sometimes it's fine to just have a Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, or have an Ant-Man. Just have a movie that's just a decent, an okay movie. Um,
I guess what I was expecting is I think the biggest disappointment is what we brought up earlier. It's just I thought this was going to be the move forward. Like there's been a lot of hype built up around this movie. All these trailers, they have like a million trailers
yeah,
for this
there
movie.
were a lot of trailers. Yeah.
And like it was like, okay, this is the big one. This is gonna be the big push forward to what the MCU is gonna be. Like they kept connecting all these shows, they kept doing all these things. Doctor Strange was in a few things that we watched not long ago, and now this is like another push towards something that's been happening a lot. I thought this was gonna be the push forward, when in reality, it's just a story, and that's really what it is.
Yeah, I
And I'm
mean,
not trying to rate it off of because I think we talked before the review we had. Damn bug. Sorry.
we
Dude,
had
where are these bugs?
the review we're doing currently.
No. What I meant is I'm trying to say is like I'm not trying to review it off of what it does for the MCU. I'm trying to review it for what it
Oh,
is. But still, it's disappointing. But I'm not going to make that a part of my score because overall, I still think the movie, even without thinking of it not pushing the MCU forward, I still think it's good, just not great or amazing. I guess I was kind of hoping, in a sense, though, this was going to be the push forward for the MCU. This was going to be the movie that pushes it ahead and lets us and finally explains what the whole point of all this is,
well,
which
I
I
can tell
guess
you,
now we have to wait till Thor.
as
So
I've let the movie sit, after we had talked the other night, I told you that I wasn't as disappointed as you were because I wasn't as excited. Now that fact still holds true, but as I've sat with it, I thought to myself, and I did think of it in the context of the greater NCU. What the hell is that? MCU, along with the context of it just being a sequel and just being a movie. I thought about all those combined. And I think it fails at most of it, honestly. As
yeah, especially when it comes to being a
a sequel,
sequel,
yeah,
I think it fails heavily
yes.
on that.
One thing, one point I want to make, and one couple things I want to throw out there is in the early MCU. Let's look at Captain America: The Winter Soldier and Captain America: Civil War. Those movies are spaced apart by multiple years. Multiple different films happen in between those, and the Civil War tells a very large, important story in the greater MCU. But at the end of the day, when you boil down and you pay attention to the narrative and the storylines, it still works incredibly well as a sequel to Winter Soldier. It's still a sequel to Captain America: Winter Soldier. It's still Captain America 3. Now, its importance in the greater MCU is much more in depth and everything, but like if you take away all that, it's still, you can watch all three Captain America movies and get a story. And I don't think in the Multiverse of Madness works very well as a sequel at all. It doesn't have any connections. The villain, well, there's not a lot we can say about the villain without spoiling anything. Let me tell you, the villain is probably the single most what was it? Not split worthy, but like a controversial thing in this movie. The way who the villain is and what that means for that character moving forward. But also the villain that we were told was going to be in this movie, based off the end credit sequence of the first movie, who's not a villain in this movie. He's not even in this movie. The actual character is not even in this movie at all. There is a version of that same character, but the actual character is not in here when you think about it.
You know what the worst part about it is they literally make a small point about that, and then that's it. Like they say a one line about the whole thing that happened, and then they just kind of push it to the side. And that is actually because I was going to bring that up, but now that you brought it up, it's a good thing. That is just a big reason why I think this is just a good movie, but not great or amazing, because it should have been a sequel. I mean, we waited how many years now? It came out in 2016.
Yes, 6 years. 6 years.
6 years. We've been waiting for that story to continue.
Now, granted,
what we got was not a continuation of that story.
Yeah. Now, granted, we've had a lot of Doctor Strange in between those 6 years, so like he's not been gone. Like we know what he's been doing. Yeah. However, I do think so. It fails as a sequel to Doctor Strange. I think it not completely fails as a individual movie. I think it has a lot of good parts and it has quite a few bad parts, but I think it succeeds generally. Well, does it succeed as in the greater terms of the MCU? Because it moves characters forward in a meaningful capacity. It moves the villain forward and moves Doctor Strange forward. Now, granted, whether you like where those forward momentums go, it moves them forward and it sets things up for the future. So I think it does have obviously a role to play in the greater MCU. But I also think it fails as a sequel to the MCU in ways, especially as a sequel to No Way Home, because maybe this is expectations. Like, I thought this movie was going to deal with what happened in that movie more, and it doesn't play a single minuscule role in this movie at all. What happens in No Way Home, which makes no sense if you look back 1 week. And if you asked me what this movie was going to be about from a core plot perspective, I thought there's no way it can't bring up these points. And those points that I would have said a week ago, none of them are in here.
I feel like a lot of things that people thought were going to be in this movie were not really in there.
Which, again, is not innately a bad thing, you know? It's not... We're talking about... Sorry. Go ahead.
Wait. I just think... It's a bad thing because of one thing. It's the fact that they had these trailers come out. And in my opinion, they shouldn't have come out with as many as they did. Because those trailers painted a picture of what we were all kind of expecting. And I feel like none of that was in the trailers. I mean, yes, scenes were in there. And there were a couple things that weren't actually in the movies that were in the trailer. But that's normal MCU things. They do that with almost every movie, which I'm not surprised by that. I figured they were going to take out some lines and stuff, but I just feel like they painted a picture of what to expect. Obviously, I expected, some twists and stuff, but I was expecting a different storyline, and also I was expecting a sequel, first and foremost. I didn't think it was going to all be about a certain someone the entire time, which I still don't really like where the villain went, because I don't think it really works, in my opinion. But that's just a matter of everyone's opinion on what they think of the villain.
I mean, I think it kind of it betrays what came before.
Yeah, beyond betrays what happened before.
And I think that's a big problem, and it confuses the shit out of me. Like, when we first meet the character in the movie, I'm like, oh, okay. And then what happens. I'm like, oh, so nothing that happened before mattered at all. We're still on the same point that when we left her, when we thought.
I know, and that's where it's annoying, because that villain is. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's
no, me. I said something that. Hopefully, people will see the movie. I said the thing. No. Anyway, okay. So
But you know what?
I am.
Here's another point, real quick.
Go ahead.
If they
Make
would've-
one more
they
negative
could've-
point because I want to get into some positives
Okay,
too.
I was gonna say a not negative point, but a thing they could have done. It literally would have worked. Is if they connected that villain that was at the end of the first movie with how the villain does what they do in this movie. In my opinion, that's what they should have done. There should have been something that guy did that sparks this chain reaction of this happening. But instead, it just was just like a spin in the face of what already happened and has already been answered, but now has to be re-answered again. So it's both a negative and more like, why didn't they just do that?
Well,
But
now that I'm realizing it, I literally just had this thought. The end credit sequence at Doctor Strange reveals, I cannot remember the character's name, but it reveals Doctor Strange's mentor as a bad guy who doesn't like what's going on. We never see the fallout of that. We never see Doctor Strange learning of that. But in this movie, it is brought up how Doctor Strange knows that guy, his mentor, doesn't like him anymore. So this movie that leads me to believe that we're never going to get that. The movie just kind of skipped it. I just thought about that. Like the movie addresses the fact that he already knows what is going on with that character now, and that character doesn't like it.
He's been chasing him down for years. Too.
Well,
that's what he says. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, the movie just completely skipped that.
Yeah.
So it fails as a sequel, in my opinion.
Yeah, it completely fails as a sequel.
It is. Like, it is Star Wars 100%. Episode 9.
Well, yeah.
I'm not saying it's that bad. No, I'm not saying it's that bad at all. What I'm saying is Star Wars Episode 9 fails as a sequel to Episode 8, whether you wanted it to be or not. It does. But okay, let's move on to some positives because the movie does have some positives. I don't want to rip on it for 20, 30 minutes. I want to talk about some of the good things and some of the best things. For better or worse, this movie was definitely directed by Sam Raimi. Let me tell you, man. If you know anything about Sam Raimi, if you've watched any of the Evil Dead movies, any of his movies at all, this is 100%. Did I say Day of the Dead? I meant Evil Dead. I think.
Yeah, you said Evil Dead.
Okay, I think he also directed Day of the Dead. I don't remember. He directed a lot of Dead movies.
No, I think Day of the Dead was
Snyder. Day of the Dead was Snyder, right?
No, I thought that was whatever his name was, the main dude that made zombies himself. I thought that was when he made Day of the Dead.
I don't remember. Anyway, this is 100% a Sam Raimi movie, and to its credit, this is the MCU's, just like Thor Ragnarok was the MCU's interpretation of a full-fledged comedy. This is the MCU's interpretation of a horror movie. This is part horror, part superhero movie. Like there are times where I like it's not crazy horror or anything like that. Like it's not Conjuring level, but this is the MCU's attempt at a horror movie.
By the way, agree? George A. Romero.
Yeah, Day of the Dead.
Yeah, made the man who created zombies itself.
Yeah.
Sorry. I didn't know if you had to say something else.
No, I have other stuff to say, but I asked you if you agreed with what I said.
Oh, no, that's the parts I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Is when they did start to get into like because I really like the horror stuff. Like some people are kind of weak to the whole horror thing. They're like, oh, it was so scary. It was like really hardcore. I'm like, well, not really. I mean, they kind of held back a lot. It's Disney-like, but still.
You can call out your wife.
Really cool stuff.
You can call out your wife.
Not my wife. She
really?
wasn't scared. It was two guys we were with.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no. It was so good. I loved those parts. Those parts where I was like on the edge of my seat, excited because I'm like, this is cool. This is really awesome. Like I love these parts.
Yeah.
That whole scene, you know what I mean? Like it was pretty dang cool.
Oh yeah, when they're escaping.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole
fight thing.
The whole chase scene, the whole fight,
cool
yeah. Also, one thing I want to interject real quick. What the effing magical touch and or shit ton of money did Disney have to throw at the MPAA to get this movie to go PG-13? Because this, in all circumstance in my eyes, is a rated R superhero movie.
Yeah, it gets pretty brutal in some parts. But I was
it gets super brutal. To not go to any spoilers.
I love it, though. That's what dude, that gives me hope.
There's an impalement. There's a slice in half. There's a head contusion. There's an evaporation. There's a deathification. There's desecration. This movie is 100% a rated R superhero movie that somehow got a PG-13 rating. I don't
the
know how much
borderline.
money.
It's that Disney borderline rated R thing where they hit it. They did just the right things to not make it rated R, and I love this movie for that reason because I loved how gruesome it was
It
at
was
certain
very
points.
visceral. Yeah,
I mean, if it was rated R, it would have been way worse, but
yeah.
it was
But I
definitely
think
really good
that's
at those parts.
that scene that that we're walking around. I mean, everyone knows the Illuminati. So let's just say the Illuminati sequence. All right.
Yeah.
The Illuminati sequence is 100% the standout. I thought it was fucking
Oh, that was the
phenomenal.
best part.
The whole thing, the
every
the introduction, the battle, the chase, the escape. You know, I'm trying to use very vague terms here. All of it,
Yeah.
especially the way that it was framed when characters are, you know, during the escape. The way that the person pursuing them is framed and visualized. I'm like, fuck, this is cool. This really is a horror superhero movie or a superhero horror movie.
Literally, that entire whole sequence of the movie is what I was expecting for the movie. I was expecting that kind of stuff.
And you know
And
why?
I feel like it's only that sequence that really does the magic that I was looking forward to.
But you know why
and the
that
rest
scene
of it
is
is
so
very
good.
cheesy,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Well, do you want to know? Well, that's Sam Raimi. Like, you know, I knew that going into it. Said that is the good and the negative in a Sam Raimi movie. Like, we get Evil Dead and Spider-Man in this one movie. We get both of those combined together.
Yeah.
That's what this movie is. Whether
It's got that Spider-Man 3 vibes in a couple moments.
Well, I think it's got Spider-Man 2 vibes, not in terms of quality, just the vibes. Like, you know, the scene that everybody hates in Spider-Man 2 when, you know, raindrops are falling on my head scene, which I love that scene because it's so ramified. It's such a ramified scene that I fucking adore in that movie that everyone hates and they roll their eyes at. But me being a Spider-Man fan, maybe I'm sentimental for that. But I think the reason that the Illuminati scene succeeds where the rest of the movie fails is because there's no real character story being told there, or there's no real narrative being told there. Everything has been set up, and now you're getting you're moving towards phase 3, act 3. Like, that is the conjunction between Act 2 and Act 3. It's that whole sequence. And I think this movie falls apart a little bit when it deals with characters and narrative. And I think it falls apart quite heavily, honestly, when it deals with those things. And the movie has a lot that it's juggling. And I think that is the biggest thing that I kept feeling in this movie. I'm like, man, it feels like Disney, again, not blaming Disney for the quality of the movie, you know? I'm like that. I'm not an apologist either, but it's like it feels like they had a lot that they had to do, and they were trying to find ways to put all that in this movie. I mean, there's an introduction of a brand new character with a brand new power set that completely changes the MCU in a massive way that kind of gets sidelined for some of the movie in terms of character development and all that. And there's quite a few different circumstances like that. I said there's the villain that comes from the end that gets completely passed over. Again, it's not even actually in the movie for real. And there's a whole bunch of different things that just get kind of thrown in there, and they either get jumbled into the narrative or passed over. So I think, you know, the good parts of the movie are the horror elements, and in my opinion, some of the action scenes are very good. In terms of character development, character motivation, character implementation, and narrative production, I think the movie's pretty lacking in all those categories. But in visuals, it looks great. Has some
scenes look great. The whole
the
first fight scene with a certain creature.
When
that was the most. That was probably the worst.
Yeah, that was bad.
VFX I've seen in any MC movie.
Yeah, when that car came around the corner at the very beginning, I was like, man, that's a fake ass looking car. Like, that
also,
looked
when they
like
were
fake.
being held up too, like it looked really bad. At first, okay, not gonna lie, and I'm not gonna ruin anything. At the beginning, I thought they were doing that as a joke. I thought they were trying to say it was a different verse, but in reality, it wasn't. And it was just bad quality. And I was like, oh, I was going to give them the benefit of the doubt. And I thought they were trying to pull something there.
Wait, are we talking about the very, very first scene, or the first scene? Because I don't mind the first scene. It's a lot of other background noise that's happening that makes that scene that look not as great. But no,
Yeah.
I was talking about the first
No, I know what you're
the
talking about.
the
Yeah.
wedding scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's the one I was talking about too. That was the
Okay.
one I was originally bringing up. But I was also saying, like, I thought because of the bad quality in that, I thought they were doing like a joke. Like I thought it was gonna be a different verse, and they were gonna bring it up and be like, "Oh, that's the bad quality, thing." Like, I thought it was gonna be a joke because MCU likes to throw in jokes. So I thought, okay, that'd be a pretty good joke actually. Like I'd laugh if they would have brought that up. But in reality, it was just bad quality, and that's just what it was. It's just end of
Yeah.
story, and that entire fight sequence was just bad,
All right.
like not good.
Give me your one paragraph summary and put a score on it if you want to. I'm ready to put a score on mine.
Okay. All right.
Give me
So
your
to
one paragraph
summarize,
summary. If you were telling somebody that
yeah.
if they were walking away and said, "Hey, I gotta go. Tell me about this movie." You got 30 seconds. Go.
Okay. It's a very strange movie with a lot of things happening, not a lot of things moving forward, not a great sequel, some really bad, really bad VFX, but altogether, it's still a good story and worth a watch. And then I'll give it a 6 out of 10.
Man, okay, come on. We review movies on a 5-star scale. You know this.
Sorry.
3.
3 out of 5.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, my summary is pretty similar, except I don't think the VFX are that bad. In a couple scenes are pretty bad, but I think the rest of the movie looks pretty good. I will say that this is an MCU movie, whether you like that or not. It is the most average, basic MCU movie that somebody could have produced in a very artistic and stylish way, meaning that Sam Raimi. If you like the MCU, you'll like this movie. If you don't like the MCU, this movie is not going to change your mind at all. 3 out of 5 as well.
Yeah.
And that is a stretch to 3 out of 5. I was honestly going back and forth between 2.5 to 3.
I was too, but I do think it is right in the middle. I
Yeah.
think that's where it belongs.
Well, right in the middle would be 2.5.
Oh, okay, yes, you're right. But when
You mean in the middle of the
it's
MCU, yeah.
It's slightly
Yeah.
above average. That's
Yeah.
where I would put it. Yeah.
I think that scene, the Illuminati scene, is what what got me to get it to a 3, because that scene is so good.
Which makes me wish that certain future things happen from certain people.
Yeah.
So
I will say that again, I'm not disappointed in it because I had good expectations, but my expectations were not through the roof for it. So I managed my expectations fairly well. I knew we were going to get the Sam Raimi-ness. I knew we were going to get all that. So I am not overly disappointed. However, I always want the MCU to be better than an above average movie.
yeah.
Are you okay over there?
Sorry, my nose. My allergies are going crazy right now. No, I was just saying, like, I mean, since it's already a setup character, I just kind of wished, it would have been a sequel like most other MCU movies, and it would have just, I don't know. I just feel like that's where the biggest fault is. It just wasn't, and it's just another story.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was our review. Spoiler free, mostly, other than, the rest of the MCU. The movie itself was spoiler free. Yeah. Review discussion of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Stay tuned in the next coming weeks. I'm sure we're going to get into some spoilers. We'll talk about it in the next week or so on this show, or maybe we'll do another show with a friend or something, and we'll talk about the MCU as a whole. Please, in the description down below and or on our Patreon, let us know what you thought of the movie if you got a chance to see it. And if you haven't got a chance to see it, let us know if you're excited to see it or not. However, we are now going to go to Around the Point. We got a pretty big week to get to you here, so we're going to keep most things brief. However, there are a couple things that I want to talk about. Number one, and the most important story from this last week, the Embracer Group has agreed to acquire most of Square-Enix's Western studios for $300 million. This deal includes a catalog of IPs including Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, Thief, Legacy of Kain, and over 50 more back catalog games from Square-Enix's holding. Speaking from Lars Wingefors, CEO and co-founder of the Embracer Group, he says, "We are thrilled to welcome these studios into the Embracer Group. We recognize the fantastic IP, world-class creative talent, and track record of excellence that have been demonstrated time and again over the past decades. It has been a great pleasure meeting the leadership teams and discussing future plans for how they can realize their ambitions and become a part of Embracer. And now this is Square Enix of America and Europe CEO Phil Rogers. Well, that's a basic ass name. Embracer is the best kept secret in gaming, a massive, decentralized collection of entrepreneurs whom we are thrilled to become a part of today. It is the perfect fit for our ambitions. Make high quality games with great people, sustainably, with great people, sustainably, and grow our existing franchises to their best versions ever. Embracer allows us to forge new partnerships across all media to maximize our franchises potential and live our dreams of making extraordinary entertainment. Overall, this deal, Embracer will now have more than 14,000 employees, 10,000 game developers, 124 internal studios, and 230 games in development at those studios, 30 of which or more are AAA titles. Logan, what is your immediate reaction to this?
Thank God. That's all I gotta say. I hope Square Enix crash and burns after this. Because you know the reason why they did this?
I mean, I have my hopes.
The reason why Square Enix did that is because of the good old amazing NFT market. Because they want to continue their movement towards the NFTs. Which, by the way, we didn't. I don't think we put the story on here, but I don't know if you heard about the NFT market right now, but it's crashing, burning as well.
Well,
Which
duh, we
makes
all
me,
knew that.
I know, and honestly, I laugh at Square Enix's face. I'm happy they got rid of those games because honestly, they need to move away from Square Enix. Square Enix is a greedy, monstrous company that does not care about their games. They always highly aim for their games to sell well over than what they should. They always think their games undersell when in reality they sell pretty dang well. And yeah, honestly, I think it's a good thing this happened. It's a great thing it happened. And honestly, all I hope to see is Square Enix fail because it's going to be funny when they learn that the NFTs probably won't exist much longer and their whole non-fungible sell stuff will be worthless. So, yeah. That's what my take on it.
I have a different take.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna tell you why I think they did this.
Well, I
One,
know they said it. They posted a thing about why they did it.
well, they posted things that they want to do. NFTs were included in that. That is not the main number one reason. That was one of 5 reasons they gave. Also, while Tomb Raider sells great, the rest of those franchises that you name off, none of them sell great. Tomb Raider sells fantastic. Deus Ex flopped. Whether that's the game's quality or not. Thief, when they tried to reboot it, flopped. Legacy of Kain hasn't been made in 20 years, which I regret. I wish that game could be. I wish the second one, or a sequel, would come out. And then whatever the 50 backholding games. It came out. I forgot to put it on here. Marvel's Avengers was a massive flop. Lost Square Enix almost $300 million. So the money that they gained off this purchase is the money that they lost on Marvel's Avengers. So I don't think this is actually a huge loss to Square Enix. And yeah, it sucks that they're doing the NFTs, but the reason I think they're doing this is they're trimming up because they want to be bought. We are in the world of acquisitions. I hate it. I don't like it, but I'm going to have to deal with it because that's what we're doing right now. And if they're going to be bought, they're Japaneseifying themselves. Because you know what other company is Japanese?
What's that?
Sony. I don't see how any of this does not lead to Sony purchasing Square Enix. They've shed some of the studios that, well, I love Tomb Raider, and I hope the next Tomb Raider comes out, and I hope it's great. I actually quite like Crystal Dynamics too. I love Marvel's Avengers. You know, I put 300 hours into the game. So I'm excited. I am worried because the Embracer Group is like an all-sucking force that we haven't really seen anything great come out of yet. We don't know anything that they can do or how they work even at that. The biggest studios, 3D Realms failed, Gearbox made Borderlands, but and Wonderlands, but that was in production before they got acquired. TH Nordic is doing okay. They own a lot of different franchises like SpongeBob and Kingdoms of Amalur that they've come out with remakes from. Saber Interactive is a fighting studio. Koch Media had that awful E3 press conference last year. So I don't know what Embracer Group is like as a publishing house. I mean, they're one of the biggest in the world now. So we'll see how they work. If they work well, we'll see if the studios are allowed to, quote unquote, free themselves up. And I do agree that Square Enix was always pretty assholey towards the Western studios. Now, granted, there are still Western studios that Square Enix owns. Square Enix still owns the Life is Strange studio. They still own. There's like 3 more, but I forgot them all. So,
Is it Adios Montreal?
No,
still own them?
No, that's the Deus Ex studio that they sold.
That's the people that had Guardians of the Galaxy, so they got rid of Guardians of the Galaxy too.
Yeah, which great game, loved it. Not that successful in terms of sales. It was okay. I think it reached.
Wait, are you going off like how much they cost them making the game, or what they said was unsuccessful? Because they said every game was unsuccessful.
No, I'm just going off the charts.
They aimed higher.
I'm going off like actual charts. Like the highest that Guardians got was 8th in the month that it released. So it just wasn't that successful for the money that they supposedly put towards it. Now, I don't have all those numbers in front of me, but I mean that game wasn't cheap to make. So now I'm not saying that they deserve to get sold off. Again, I'm saying that I hope these studios go on and make great games, and I hope Tomb Raider makes great games. I hope Tomb Raider. My God. Crystal Dynamics continues to make Tomb Raiders, and maybe they can fix Avengers, but I honestly, if I was them, I would just quit with Avengers. I honestly think Avengers is done with Embracer Group. They're not going to want to support it that much because it's overall unsuccessful. But anyway, all that is coming down to, I think Square Enix wants to trim the fat. Wants to trim the studios and the games that don't make them a lot of money. I mean, Tomb Raider sells well, but it doesn't make them enough money for what they want, whether that is. I mean, Final Fantasy VII sold more than almost the... Oh, no. What I was about to say was wrong. Sold more than I think Rise and Shadow combined of the Tomb Raider. The first Tomb Raider sold extraordinarily well. So I will agree with you a little bit. I'm not going to say they're not a greedy company because they probably are. It's a multi-billion-dollar company in the world today. They're all greedy. They're all assholes. I think the NFT is a little bit of bolstering. We'll see. I think maybe they're setting that up because they want to look better for investors and everything like that. But again, I think all this leads to Sony purchasing Square Enix, which, whatever. I don't like when publishers get purchased. I'm much more okay with studios and things like that getting purchased. But I honestly think Sony and Square Enix are the perfect fit. I mean, they've been working together for years and years and years. And I think a more Japanese-centric Square Enix fits more with what Sony wants. Because they're just... I don't know. I'm conflicted because I like some of these games, but I also love the Japanese side of Square Enix. I don't like that they're doing the NFTs and all that. We'll see what happens because I play multiple Square Enix's game and there's not a single NFT over any of them, so they haven't even started doing that. So we'll see. I think this is good for both sides. I don't think Square Enix is done. Square Enix is so diversified and they have so many properties and all their games, every Final Fantasy game that comes out is highly successful. So I don't think this is Square Enix done at all. In fact, I actually think this might make them slightly not as successful and wide-reaching, but more successful in what they do. And, therefore they don't have to put this money into these things that, for them, don't make enough money. Whether they make enough money for us on the Western side of the world or not, I don't know. I don't know how that works, so. Anything else you gotta say?
No, not really.
Okay. I did want to let people know that there were some things that came out. The sales numbers for Tomb Raider came out, and over its lifetime, 88 million units sold from the AAA units, 38 of those being from the reboot trilogy. So the reboot, very successful, highly successful. The original one significantly more than the next two, Rise and Shadow. Um, I believe there was a very good reason that Rise was an overall not failure, but not anywhere close to successful as the first Tomb Raider. But that's a very fanboy idea. It's backed by numbers, but it's still a quote unquote fanboy reason. Um, and it's been confirmed that Crystal Dynamics will continue to co-develop Microsoft's Perfect Dark because who knows what the hell's going on with that game. You got anything else, my man?
No, not really.
I'm happy for both sides. So, yeah. I'm glad it happened because I just think Square was done with making some of these games. They didn't want to make these games. It's not the type of games that I ever really saw Square making to begin with, you know. Square was always Square Soft, and then Square-Enix became Square-Enix when they purchased it, and now they sold it, so now they're kind of like, we're not really Square-Enix anymore. We're going back to just like Square, which I like. I'm on board with that because we got some of the best JRPGs of all time from that team. You know, I know you hate JRPGs, so
I don't hate them. I just don't. They're not my kind of game.
yeah. But I think this will be profitable for both sides. I think this was a good mutual split. And if Sony does decide to purchase Square Enix, I think that would be best for Square Enix because Sony knows what they're doing when they make video games. So let's hope that works out best for them.
Some games.
98% of the games that Sony exclusively makes are good games. Okay, 90%.
I would say 90%.
I'll say 9 out of 10 games that Sony makes are good games. Yeah. Okay. Moving on to our second story, the Prince of Persia remake has moved on to a new studio. I don't know if you've been tracking this or following this at all, Logan. I have because I love Prince of Persia. I grew up with the Prince of Persia series, playing these games on my good old PS2. So this... Go ahead. Oh, no, you're fine. I was just going to read the quotes.
Oh, yeah. No, I did keep up with the story. I guess I'll wait for you to say the quotes because I don't know if it's going to ruin it.
Okay, so it says, this decision is an important step, and the team... By the way, this is translated, so that's why it may sound a little weird. This decision is an important step, and the team, building upon the work achieved by Ubisoft Pune and Ubisoft Mumbai, God, I'm a child, will now take the time they need to regroup on the scope of the game to deliver you the best experience for this remake of an all-time classic when it's ready, Ubisoft says in a statement on Twitter. It says, we want to thank you all for your continuous support and patience throughout the development. Rest assured that we will update you on the progress in a future update. Fuck me.
This is great news because now it's finally back to its original team. Because it originally was made by it was being made by a different team outside of.
It was being made by the Ubisoft's Middle Eastern studios.
Yeah, and they.
Do you remember that trailer? God, that thing was ugly.
Yeah, it did. It looked okay.
Oh, okay.
It looked okay.
It looked like a fucking steaming pile of shit. What are you talking about?
I know, that's what I meant.
Okay, I was like, please don't tell me.
Well, that's why I'm happy that it's moved to the actual team now, because hopefully they'll actually put the effort in. But I don't know, it's Ubisoft, so I don't have hope for anything they make anymore.
That's true.
We'll see.
I was gonna say the Sands of Times has a very special place in my heart from my childhood as a kid. So I'm very sensitive when it comes to this. And when they put that first trailer out, I literally sat in front of my screen and went, "What the fuck was that? That looked worse." How do you remake a game and it looks worse? I understand they're going for their own visual style. I can get on board with that. Maybe it just came across in the trailer pretty poorly, but the fact that it was announced in September 22, had a release date of January 2021, got delayed. It is now May of 2022, and now it is going to a new development team. A remake should not take this long.
Honestly,
it's a remake.
Better than just literally porting in the best one that they had and then just upraising. And it probably would have looked way better than what they were showcasing us.
Yeah, probably. Maybe they should have just rocked some.
Like, I remember seeing that, and I'm like, I can't believe they let this come out because it looked bad. so bad. Like I watched Amy play this game actually on the Wii, and it looked better than that.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Back on the PS3 when the remastered trilogy came out, I played the shit out of these games. I love these games. I like I like all of them. And they own each one of the trilogy has its own like tone and style. Like Prince of Persia: Sands of Time is very wondrous and fairy tale esque in its tone. The Warrior Within is fucking super dark. It's very dark. The Warrior Within, it's very edgy gothic kind of interpretation. And then was it the not the Two Thrones? It's two something. I can't remember, but the third one is kind of a combination of the both. It goes back to its own fairy tale storytelling, but with dark interpretations of the characters. So, I wish Prince of Persia would come back. I love this series. It's the only thing that I really hate that Assassin's Creed did was essentially kill the Prince of Persia series. Now I kind of wish Prince of Persia would kill Assassin's Creed for a little bit, but
yeah, but you don't want to see what they'll turn Prince of Persia into. So I think it's
no.
probably
Here's the
best it
thing:
stays
I don't
there.
need to see because I know it's gonna be an open world RPG. What the fuck do you
Yeah,
think? Like,
yeah, and then yeah, it's gonna be RPG elements where you have to grind for 150 hours to beat the game.
oh my
Uh,
god.
it's gross.
I've been doing a lot of watching. Um, I'm in an Assassin's Creed mood, which sucks because I told myself I was done with that series, but I just can't be done with this series. It means so fucking much to me, man. That's a story for another time. So, what overall? Are you excited about the Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake now that it's going to a different studio? I'm honestly gonna put this out of my mind and forget about it until I see something more from it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not excited anyways. It's Ubisoft, so they
Yeah.
might put NFTs in there so they can sell NFT blades and stuff.
Oh no, there's gonna be NFTs.
Yeah, I can't wait. Just put yourself even worse into the community. But that's where Ubisoft's going. Either go for it and make some money, or let it all burn down. That's the Ubisoft motto nowadays. So let's see.
Yeah. So let's go into a couple of individual storylines. I put this first one in here for you, and then the next one in here is pretty much for me. But number 3 on Around the Point, Activision blames World War II for bad sales of Vanguard.
Yeah, that's the reason why, for sure.
Okay. Despite being the best-selling game of 2021, Activision is still unhappy with how the game has performed. Who have they identified as the culprit? Well, it's World War II, folks. The company recognizes that the franchise is still one of the most successful entertainment franchises, at least, but their 2021 premium did not meet their expectations. In their annual report to investors, Activision Blizzard wrote, "The game's World War II setting did not resonate with some of our community." Back in November, we reported that games industry.biz in collaboration with PAX concluded people weren't playing Vanguard because they were too busy playing other games. In fact, World War II even got a mention with 24% of those polled saying they also weren't interested in games set during that time.
Oh, maybe if you actually made a good Call of Duty, it wouldn't have been so bad. That's all you have to do.
Yeah, that's what I found. It's like, oh, it wasn't that the quality of the game sucked. It was that the setting people didn't like, even though it was still the
That makes
number
sense. So
one. It was still the number one selling game of
yeah,
2021.
it's not the setting that makes it fail. It's just the matter of the campaign was garbage. The zombies mode, which is the second mode, was garbage. They finally, I think, months upon months upon months, finally added a wave-based map and finally added power weapons to zombies. And at that point, no one cared about Vanguard anymore. And Vanguard, just in general, is just doesn't look good. Like, yeah, it looks good. Like, it's polished, but it's not a good Call of Duty. And I will. This is actually, I think, the first Call of Duty I've not purchased. And I don't think I'll ever purchase it because I don't want to play it. It looks horrible. I'm excited for Modern Warfare 2. So, I mean, hey, they'll make their money back in 2 because I'm sure about come right back for that. But I don't think it's a setting because personally, I think, I mean, clearly it's still sold the most out of the entire year, out of any game. So clearly, people still bought it and did it, but it's bad sales because they probably didn't make as much as they did with Cold War and Modern Warfare. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I
that's all I really got to say about it. You
I
know,
mean,
it was just a bad idea.
this is the same thing that you were talking about with Square Enix, except it's way worse. Because like while Square underperformed to some point some of their games, obviously Tomb Raider was still successful. This game underperformed by being the number one game of 2021.
Yeah,
And I think that just speaks to a larger problem with modern video games is that there has to be a consistent growth year in and year out, or else it's looked at upon as a failure. Well, last year we sold, I don't know, 56 million copies. Well, this year we only sold 52 million copies. Like, you still fucking sold 50 million copies of a video game. Shut up. It's not bad. Just because people were more interested in last year's, because it was Cold War setting, even though last year's, from what all I can tell, was still pretty much of a letdown. Just because people were more interested in that and had more faith in that, you sold 4 million more copies. By the way, all these numbers are just made up. I'm just throwing shit out there. But you still sold a shit ton of copies. And it just drives me up a fucking wall when these developers just strive for consistent growth year in and year out. And then when it's not working, they're like, well, people just don't care about this. I'm like, well, maybe they care about the fucking quality of your game instead of what setting it's in. I'll play a game in any setting if it's good.
well,
Like I like other. I like. No, you're fine. I'm still ranting. I like some settings more than other settings, obviously. But I'm never gonna look at a game and be like, huh, this is set in space. I like fantasy more than space, so I'm not gonna play that game. I'm like, no, I'm still gonna. I still like space. I'm still gonna try it out. If the game sucks, the game sucks. Like, I've liked some space games and I haven't liked other space games. The setting doesn't matter as long as the fucking game is good. Whew, rant over.
Yeah, that's true though, and this honestly just shows them more and more that they need to stop making Call of Duties every year because Vanguard came out as a mess. I mean, it ruined Warzone. It had broken bad things for so long. I mean, they had to push back their season 2, I think, for a long time because I mean not as bad as a certain other game named Battlefield 2042, but that's another day. But still, like, and then they had another freaking other one of their studios working on a side mode for this game because they couldn't finish this game in time. Like, this just shows more than ever that they really need to just let their developers get an extra year or so to develop their games because it is really bad. Like this, I mean, Cold War and this game both struggled so hard to release because they both had other teams help them and stuff just to get it done and out on time at November, as always every year. Which I'm hoping the next Modern Warfare 2 is very well polished. I think it is. They already do. They already had the formula. Now it's just a matter of what do they add to it. So I'm excited for Modern Warfare 2. I hope it's not as bad as like broken as these last two Call of Duties. I like Cold War still, but that's only because I like the campaign and zombies. Multiplayer was hot garbage. Never played Vanguard once, but from what I've seen on it, it does not interest me whatsoever, and it just looks bad. The zombies is bad. The campaign, from what I've seen, I pretty much watched the whole thing. It's bad. Um, and multiplayer looks average, and it just doesn't look fun. So yeah,
You want to hear something absolutely insane that makes me more angry at this fucking company for being how absolutely greedy they are. So the number one selling game of 2021 in the US was Call of Duty Vanguard. Can you name the number two best-selling game of 2021?
oh my god, yeah, you ready? I bet it's Madden.
No, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War.
Really?
They had the number one and number two best-selling game in the US in 2021, and they're complaining.
That's insane.
Quit fucking complaining about not making as much money as you did last year. You still made a shit ton of money. And other than that, I don't know what I want. I'm not a Call of Duty guy. I'm just more of like, I want video games to not be what they are. And what I mean by that is like we do get great video games, highly detailed worlds that people spend years and years and companies care about. Halo Infinite, was clearly a game that the developers cared about. The quality of such I can't speak to. I know there was quite a few people who were let down by it. There's a bunch of people that really liked it, but it was clearly made by people who care. And Horizon, a game 5 years in the making, done by everybody who cares about that game. I don't know, the next Nintendo game. I don't know, I can't keep track of Nintendo, but like
Elden Ring.
Yeah, Elden Ring, the game. Clearly, they care about the game. Honestly, a little too much because it's a single player game and they keep nerfing weapons, which is super fucking annoying. But quit nerfing weapons in a single player game.
I will talk about that, but it's actually not as bad as I thought it was.
So. It's still a little annoying, but Horizon actually did the same thing, but then they fixed it because they realized it was a mistake. So anyway, quit complaining about making a shit ton of money, fuckers. I make $8 a session training people. Fuck off.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. My rant is officially over. I'm moving on to something that I'm very happy about. Our fourth story. Yoshida. Oh my god, I butchered the shit out of that. Naoki Yoshida has officially announced that Final Fantasy XVI is in the final stages of development, and my heart just skipped a beat. He says, we're in the final stages of development for the new numbered game in the series, Final Fantasy XVI. We aim to deliver a comprehensive game full of story and gameplay, no shit. Unlike an online game that involves many players at the same time, Final Fantasy XVI offers a different experience where it focuses on the individual player and immerses you in the story. I think it's a very
single player game.
Yeah, I know. A lot of this is Japanese people being Japanese people, but I still find it
no.
I still do find it endearing, especially the last couple sentences. I love that he says. Anyway, he goes on to say, I think it's a very fleshed out story, I guess in his opinion, for those who have grown up and realized that reality isn't kind to you and have drifted away from the Final Fantasy series. We hope that Final Fantasy XVI will be a game that can bring back anew the passion that you once had with the series. Now, about half of this is no fucking shit, Sherlock, but that last sentence is a fucking hitter, especially for a not lifelong, started playing it when I was like 6 or 7, so most of my life, fan of this series. That last sentence, For those who have grown up and realized that reality isn't kind to you and have drifted away from the Final Fantasy series, we hope that Final Fantasy XVI will be a game that can bring back anew the passion that you once had with the series. Now, we just talked about for 10 minutes about how a group of people don't give a shit about their games and just care about the money. This is clearly a guy who gives a shit about his game. This is clearly a guy...
Honestly, Japanese developers, dude, all of them are stupid into their development of games. Like, I don't know a single one of them that's not super into it. Like Persona 5, Elden Ring, which is made by other Japanese developers.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy, they all are like, or Smash Bros. To him himself.
Oh my god, he cares about the entire video game industry, not just his own game. He cares about the industry, whether it be Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, fucking Sega. He cares about the just industry as a whole, and he wants to always create the best game that celebrates the industry. That man is a godsend to the video games.
And the sad news, I'm sorry, this doesn't have anything to do with Final Fantasy, but we may never see another Smash Bros. With him a part of it again.
Well, probably not, because he made his magnum opus.
He made the ultimate one.
He made his magnum opus, man. Let him ride off in the sunset. But going back to this, honestly. Yes, a lot of this is a very stupid saying, but I find it so endearing because I know Japanese people, sometimes they're just like, the way that they talk and the way that they talk about things doesn't make a lot of sense to us. Or it's like, well, no shit, we know it's a single player game. That's how they work. But that's just the way that sometimes Japanese people talk and the way that, I guess I don't want to offend anybody, so I'll stop saying things there. I am an American person. But a guy that's been a fan of Japanese developers for most of my life, you get a lot of this stuff and I just find it endearing. And man, I just can't. I can't fucking wait for this game, dude. I have a hope that this game brings back everything that I've loved in the Final Fantasy series. Now, I liked Final Fantasy 15 a lot, actually. I quite enjoyed it. It wasn't really Final Fantasy, but I liked it for what it was. I want this game to bring back the feelings that I had playing Final Fantasy 7, to bring back the feelings that I had playing 9. We don't have to talk about 8. It's good, but it's not great. Especially Final Fantasy 10. My God, when I was, a little kid playing Final Fantasy 10, I was fucking enthralled. So man, I just want to talk about how I cannot wait. And I hope that this summer we get information. We get news. Apparently, there's another story that I didn't add on here that said the trailer is done. They're just waiting to release it. I'm like, don't fucking wait. Just let me see it, please. It's like God of War. Just actually, that's a lie. I don't need to see anything about God of War. This thing I need to see some more stuff from, but and it's got to come out in 2022, right? I mean, it's the franchise 35th anniversary. It has to come out.
We will see.
God, I hope so. What do you think, man? Did I sell you on Final Fantasy yet? I'm trying to. I keep talking about it, man. Eventually, I'm gonna get you to play them.
Someday I'll play it. I mean, the first one I want to start with is 7 because that's like the one that everyone talks about. So that's probably gonna be the first one I'll ever play.
Now you know none of them are connected, right? Well,
I know they're not. That's why I'm choosing one that I know that everyone says is really good. So I'm gonna start with the one that everyone basically says is really good.
Yeah, I want you to play 7, and then we need to sit down and maybe do it on here, maybe not. But I want to tell you what that story is really doing. Because people who haven't played the original one, and I'm not like saying this in a negative way, like they just don't fully get everything that's happening. Because like the story of this remake uses the original one to set events in a certain way and to add certain things here and there that if you never played it, you just don't know. So I want to explain all that to you so you can fully grasp what this fucking remake is doing. It's masterful. I love it. Okay. Hopefully you play that soon. Hey, we're in a lull, man. When I was writing the script, I was looking at I was writing the out this week, and there's not a lot coming out for like the next 2 months. So we got time.
That's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, we got time to catch up. I'm trying to not like get, because normally when in the summer months like I kind of lull myself out of games and I just like watch TV and all that. I'm trying to stick with games. Like I think the next thing I'm gonna do after Cyberpunk is I've been thinking of maybe booting up Legion and giving that one another try.
Oh, Watch Dogs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been I don't know. I've been watching a lot of Assassin's Creed, and I hate Ubisoft where they currently are, but man, I still like their games. I hate myself for saying that. Okay, moving on. That is the end of our video game news for the week. We still got quite a bit of news to get through, but this is a pop culture podcast, so I wanted to talk about some things pop culture. And this is something that I actually listened to earlier this week, and I wanted to see if Logan had got a chance to listen to. There is a new Batman podcast that has reached #1 on the Spotify charts. It is called Batman Unburied. The first 2 episodes were released on May 3rd, with new episodes coming out each and every, I think, Tuesday. I don't know. Yeah, Tuesday. Exclusively on Spotify. Seeing as we're a podcast, Logan, I wanted to support things that are happening in the podcast world. Have you got a chance to listen to this? Because this thing's fucking cool, dude.
I have not. I didn't even know it existed.
Oh, yeah.
Talk today.
It's written by David S. Goyer, who is the writer of, co-wrote the Dark Knight trilogy. I believe the first 2 at least. I don't know if he wrote Rises. I'm pretty sure he helped write Rises. But he knows this character fairly well. And yeah, this is the first time in a long time that the Joe Rogan Experience is not the #1 podcast on Spotify. It actually knocked down the Joe Rogan Experience, Mr. Ballin Podcast, Crime Junkie, and Anything Goes with Emma Chamberlain, which I have no clue what that is. But congratulations, and I'm super happy. And I think this is super cool. This is an awesome way to, get a new version of storytelling in the world, and I really like it. You should give it a shot. They're about 40 minutes each.
Yeah, I might put it on my podcast list on Spotify for tomorrow when I go to work.
Yeah,
so.
It's cool, man. It's cool. So that's all we got. Anything else you want to say about that? No. It's cool. I'm telling you, it's good. I haven't listened to the 2nd or 3rd episode yet, but actually, 3rd episode comes out tomorrow. So yeah. Okay, moving on to our next story. I'm sorry. I just wanted to throw this in here because I don't know why. I saw it. I'm like, yeah. Let's talk about it, right? We're a podcast. We're a pop culture podcast.
Pretty excited, yeah.
It's cool. Snapchat has released their 2nd hardware product, and it is a drone. Named the Selfie Drone, cost $230 and was revealed earlier this week on Snapchat's website. And a number of pre-order set options will let the drone follow or orbit around you, or simply float in place before landing in your hand once you've recorded the footage. Did you watch their preview thing that they put up on the Twitter?
I have not. I don't.
Okay.
Wait. I don't
It
have Twitter though.
well, okay. Well, it's on the webpage that I put
Oh,
on the
okay.
thing. Yeah. So
Yeah, I have to look it up. I mean,
yeah.
I
So
think there already was a drone that did this. I could have sworn I remember.
oh
seeing
well, I
that.
mean, there's a bunch of drones that do this, but this is just Snapchat's branded. It's their second hardware launch. You know, for those of you that know or care, they released apparently smart sunglasses in 2016 called
That was
Spectacles.
that was a long
Yeah.
time ago.
So this is cool. I love technology. $230 actually isn't a terrible asking price. It's not the worst thing in the world.
I'll have to look up what it does because that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it says it will. You can set it to either follow an orbit around you, float in place, or simply float in place before landing in your hand once you've recorded the footage. So I'm guessing you can record the footage, do whatever you want on the Snapchat for however long your Snapchat lasts, and then it'll land back in your hand. I guess it goes back to the
That's
sync.
pretty cool.
I'm guessing it follows the signal of the phone to go back. So
Yeah, I think you probably hold like a remote with you, and then that's how it
well,
knows where the
I'm
receiver is.
I'm guessing it just hooks up to the phone.
Or that too. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it just
guess
hooks
you
up
could
to the
just do
phone
that.
through the Snapchat app because like whenever you pull up the actual app itself, um, it'll like take the actual Snapchat. So I don't know. Anyway, I think it's cool. Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
I think it's pretty neat. So I was wanting to talk about it. You being the photography guy, I wanted to get your immediate reaction to it because I'm guessing you hadn't seen this at all until you read it on this document. So
No, I did not. But I'm actually watching the video right. The short little clip they have for it. It's a cool idea.
yeah, it's
I
neat.
mean,
It
this
says,
is even more pushing like the future of technology, and I'm really liking this a lot because like
and I think it's priced well. $230.
yeah,
Well, no, it's not
it's not
cheap.
too bad.
It's not cheap, but I mean, it is a it's a it's a it's a decently specced out piece of technology.
Yeah, and it's like a pocket-sized thing too.
Oh yeah,
It's
super
really
small. Yeah,
So that's
super
cool.
small. So, if those of you who are photographers out there, I know Logan's a huge photographer. I enjoy dabbling in photography myself. And you got $230, burn a hole in your pocket, and you want to take some drone shots, and you don't want to go buy a drone. Here you go. You can buy this thing. Snapchat's
Yeah.
new drone. If all those parameters measure up, there you go. All right, moving on now. We're going to go into movie talk. There's quite a bit I wanted to talk about here this week. A lot of stuff happened. Wanted to get your reaction on some of these things and just talk about some of the cool things happening in movies this week. Want to start off with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness wins at the domestic box office. No shit. It opened to 185.
185.
That's good. I mean, hey,
Jeez, yeah.
it's real good. I mean, it's the
I
MCU.
mean, I'm not surprised. It's MCU. Yeah, I feel like they always do really good.
Yeah, I mean, the MCU is just successful anymore,
Yeah.
So, wanted to bring this up real quick. So, the rest of the weekend box office, I was going to do this later, but I can go through it right now. The rest of the weekend box office, the bad guys got just over $9.5 million. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 came in with another $6 million. Fantastic Beasts, The Secrets of Dumbledore came in with $4.2 million. And rounding out the top 5, Everything Everywhere All at Once brought in $3.5 million. So, congratulations to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. 187 officially is the number on Box Office Mojo. And yep, Disney just keeps making fucking money, don't they?
Yeah, as always.
They make a stupid amount of money. Hey, you know what? Spider-Man being the second biggest opening of all time. Pretty impressive.
Wait, that's the second biggest?
Yeah,
oh, yeah, well, yeah, with Infinity War was the biggest, wasn't it?
Yeah, 358. Spider-Man opened at 260. Still,
Dang.
I mean, yeah, 260 million. That's dang good money. You want to know what's funny? So after one weekend, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is already the third highest grossing film of this year.
Yeah.
$411 million in its opening weekend. 187 from domestic, 224 from the international box office. Hey, Batman. Hey, the Batman, 767 million. That's fun. That's good.
Yeah,
Props
that's
props
really
to
good.
Batman for a DC movie in a pandemic era and a super dark, a 3-hour movie, a rated R Batman. Like, hey, everything was working against that movie, and I I'm happy. Uncharted's still the number 4 movie this year. How the fuck has that happened?
I don't know.
$395 million. I do not understand that at all. But anyway, congratulations to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, another successful MCU movie. Wanted to go over the reception for it now that we've given our reviews for it. I wanted to talk a little bit with Logan about how the movie is being reviewed. On Rotten Tomatoes, out of 334 reviews, it has a 75% on the tomato meter, and out of over 10,000 verified ratings, whatever that means, it has an audience score of 87%. So apparently we don't know what the fuck we're talking about. So
I mean, 75% is pretty dang close to, I feel like, where we were in a sense. Like,
no, I was more
it's
talking
not
about the
as
audience
high as it
scores.
could have, but yeah.
However, on Metacritic, which does not take which takes the overall scores and percentages them together other than just the amount of scores that are over 60%, which is what Tomato Meter does. So pretty much 75% means 75% of the reviewers that reviewed the movie thought it was better than like 60, than like a 6 out of 10.
Oh, okay.
So that's how Rotten Tomatoes works. It gives you a percentage of the reviewers that thought the movie was the least decent. On Metacritic, which as you know gives the overall average between all the reviews, out of 64 critic reviews, it has a 61.
Dang.
So the exact score that we gave it pretty much.
Yeah.
And then the more
that's
interesting
about
thing,
right.
out of 350 user reviews, it has a 6.3. So people who are on Metacritic are much more critical than people who are on Rotten Tomatoes. And also there's a lot less of them.
Yeah.
So still, like we said, it's a fine movie.
Yeah,
not-
it's a good movie. Nothing more than that, I would say.
So I stretched to get it to that 3, man. So yeah.
I'm definitely gonna see it again because
Yeah.
I want to
Well-
get another opinion on it. But that is my initial opinion on it.
I mean, my
would say.
opinion was a 3.5 straight out of the theater. I'm like, yeah, that wasn't bad. 7 out of 10. It was good. And then I started thinking about it, and I started thinking about, like we talked about earlier, like, does it work as a sequel, all these other things. I'm like, it's kind of a 3 now. So,
Yeah.
all right, continuing on, Sonic, a movie that I really like, and Logan hasn't seen yet, so I'm waiting for him to see it, is now officially the highest grossing video game movie ever in the United States of America. It has surpassed 300, and hold on, those numbers are screwed up. Anyway, so in the United States is 157 million and counting, compared to the original's 146 million. And I guess that's it. No, sorry, this article is very confusing. I was reading this article trying to figure out what the hell is going on here. And World of Warcraft made 439, but I'm pretty sure that's worldwide. Anyway, it's confusing as fuck. Because I was like 147 million isn't right. It's actually at 165 million domestic. Anyway, congratulations to Sonic 2 for being successful. We already know we're getting a Sonic 3. I'm very excited about that. I love these Sonic movies. I think they're fun. I think they're good time. And Logan, watch the movie, please.
I probably won't see it in theaters, but I will see it at some point. Yeah.
Fair enough.
I'm really excited to watch it, though. I really did like it. And it's really cool to see how far they've gone from the ugly, dumb-looking Sonic they had to where they are now.
Well, that's what
cool.
That's what I wanted to ask you real quick. I wanted to ask you, how much of the success do you think stems from the fact that they were willing to completely change their character model based off fan reaction? Like, that garnered, at least for me, a shit ton of goodwill from myself, and I don't know how many other people really pay that deep attention to it. I know it was pretty big in our circle, but our circle is, it says, the hardcore, we're still the minority out there. I wanted to kind of ask you, how much do you think the success of the Sonic movies comes from their willingness to completely revitalize the character in their entire movie? And they spent $35 million, if you remember, changing this because people didn't like it.
Yeah.
I mean, for me alone, it says that garnered a shit ton of goodwill, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to go out and support the first movie, and then I was like, hey, this thing's actually pretty good. and then I went out and supported the second movie. So I was just
I
gonna
was gonna
ask.
say one thing, and then I have a theory that someone brought up to me a long time ago, which is a good theory.
Okay.
Um, First thing first, if we're gonna go off of like what I would probably think they did it. Well, I don't know if they did, but I'll get to the theory in a second. I think it did help a lot. I mean, that helped a ton because I don't think as much people would have went and seen it if he did look like that derpy, weird looking Sonic. So I think it did help a lot. But the theory that there is out there is they just did that for clout. They did that so that people would be like making fun of it and it'd be all over. And then they would do the big fix and then it'd be all over the news and the people would be like, oh man, I got to go see it now because I got to see like, what the big difference is. Which could have kind of helped for at least the first movie. I don't know about the second movie. Obviously, the second movie doesn't have that. But that was a theory about the first movie someone had about they did that on purpose just so that they would fix it and make themselves look good and get a lot of clout from it and then have people be like, "Oh, well now we got to go see it because, like look at the changes they did and all that." So, but I don't know what they did. I'm not going to look at it as a bad way. I think it's a great thing that they did that, and it is cool that they actually did end up doing that change because not a lot of people would do that. I mean, for example, Uncharted, they didn't put a stash on Mark Wahlberg, so they clearly couldn't make that change, which probably would have costed them $2. So, but Sonic paid some money though to change the eyes, so that's a lot better.
Well, it
In
wasn't
my
just the
opinion.
eyes. I mean, it was the entire character. Like, go
Oh
back and
yeah, yeah,
go.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like go back and watch that first trailer. Like, the character looks just fucking terrible.
yeah.
Before is that all you got?
Oh yeah, that's all I
Okay,
got. Yeah.
before we move on to the next story, which is a sad and also funny story, I forgot I wanted to bring something up earlier today. Going back to the MCU and Doctor Strange, there was a poll put up by WatchMojo.com on YouTube, and it says, "How do you feel about the MCU right now?" Seeing as Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is the 28th movie in the MCU, sitting alongside several Disney series and many other projects in development. The answers are: the MCU keeps getting better. I will never tire of it. The MCU is of consistent quality and interest for me. The MCU's best days are likely behind us, but I'm still in. The MCU is slowly losing my interest as they expand. I dabble or I'm fully out. I am experiencing superhero fatigue. I will give you my answer. I answered the middle one. I said the MCU's best days are likely behind us, but I am still in.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like that would be the answer. Does it
What?
show the percent?
Yes, that's what I want to get into because
Okay.
they are way more diverse than probably you think they are. So
Really?
24% say the MCU keeps getting better. I will never tire of it. 21% say the MCU is of consistent quality and interest for me. 30%, so the biggest one, says the MCU's days are likely behind us, but I'm still in. 14% say the MCU is slowly losing my interest, and 11% say I'm out.
Dang.
I thought those numbers were way
That's
more spread
really
out. Yeah, yeah.
interesting, actually. Yeah.
And that's not of a small sample size. That's 93,000 votes. That's probably bigger now. I haven't looked at it, but I mean, that's not a small sample
5%, so it's
size.
still like not by a. So yeah, that's cool, huh? That's probably the most diverse, percent thing poll I've seen. So that's really cool.
Oh, I realized I muted my mic and I was talking. I think it speaks
Oh,
to the fact that there's a lot of different types of fans out there. There's us who are super embedded, super deep, pay attention to everything and everyone. Um, in the MCU in every single movie that comes out and all that. So, and then there's just your casual fans. There's your moms, your dads, your kids that don't read comics, don't know anything about the characters outside of the movies that just go and watch these movies because they're fun. Like we've talked about it time before, the worst MCU movie is still an okay watch. Like it's still enjoyable. Like I'm not gonna say it's good. I'm saying you can still watch it. Whereas there are movies out there that for me are unwatchable. So
yeah. I mean, I think even that's what I love about the MCU. Real quick is just that even the most uninteresting people, they usually do a good job of making a good movie about them. I mean, heck, the first Doctor Strange, I was not excited at all for that movie. Went to go see it, and it changed my mind. Same for Shang-Chi and Eternals. I mean, Eternals wasn't great, and I had really low hopes for that movie. I
I
mean,
mean,
lower than Doctor Strange.
Eternals is the worst reviewed MCU movie.
Really?
Oh yeah, it sits at a
Even
like a.
even compared to Dark World, Thor, Dark World.
Oh yeah, Thor: The Dark World. Well, let me look at the numbers real quick while you keep talking. But yeah, do you want Rotten Tomatoes numbers or do you want Metacritic numbers?
Whichever.
Okay, I'll just do this one real quick. Thor: Dark World. Um, Thor: The Dark World sits at a 66% on Rotten Tomatoes, and the Eternals. I was gonna say it, but I don't fully remember. I pay a lot of attention to this set, so.
So 66 for Dark World.
Oh fuck! I said it wrong. I spelled it wrong. So, but it's in. I believe it's 47. I'll double check, but
47.
I
Okay.
believe it's 47. I just don't have the numbers in front of me. So yeah, no, by far the worst reviewed MCU movie. And I don't. Like I said we were talking about this off camera or off the record, and I don't agree with that one bit. So
Yeah, I don't either. I think it. The trailer makes it look absolutely horrible. Like
that
it
makes it
looks
garbage. Yeah.
like hot wardage. That's why I never went and seen it in theater. Like even though I felt like I had to watch because it's part of the MCU. Um, I didn't go see it in theaters, but I did watch it on Disney Plus, and me and Mike have both agreed that it's better than the trailer, and it's actually good. Like it's a good movie. So,
The Internals on Metacritic is a 52, so a little bit better.
oh okay.
And Thor: The Dark World is a 54 on Metacritic, so much
So
more
not too
close.
bad.
So
Yeah, it's pretty
much more
close.
closely intertwined there, but still worse.
Yeah.
But then again, like we're saying, even the worst movies in my mind, Thor: The Dark World is the second worst. But I mean, I can still watch it.
Oh
And
yeah,
he's
no, I could
yeah,
still watch it. It's
I
not
can still
hot
pull it
garbage.
up.
It's just
Yeah,
not. It's probably my least favorite out of all the MCU movies. So.
technically there is a worse MCU thing. It's that show, The Inhumans. But
Oh,
I
that's
don't
an
know if
MCU.
I don't think so, but Rotten Tomatoes does, but it's 11%.
Dang.
Yeah,
Jeez.
apparently that show sucks. Never watched it. Never was gonna watch it. So
I think I did watch some of it with Amy, and it was okay.
yeah, it's fine. Wait, what? Sorry, I was reading something and I wasn't listening to you. Anyway, all right. Anything else you want to say about the MCU and or Sonic? So you said you're gonna watch Sonic eventually.
Oh yeah, just probably whenever it comes out on disc or etc. I'll probably watch it.
Okay. Moving on to our next story. A funny and sad one for me. As we all know, Justin Lin, the director of over 10 years of Fast and the Furious movies, has left Fast and the Furious 10 or X, however you want to say it, because Vin Diesel's a dick. According to THR, Lin's decision to quit was a spur of the moment decision driven by differences of opinion over the script. Where Lin considered the script finished, Diesel and Universal apparently disagreed. The conflict apparently came to a head when Diesel showed up with additional notes on April 23rd, leading to a shouting match that ended with a slammed door. Lin quickly reached a settlement with the studio that would see him remain as a producer. The news that he was stepping down was revealed in an official statement in which he spoke, yada yada yada, after working over 5 films for 10 years. Yada 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 yada. The movie got delayed. Now, here's the crazy part. Fast and the Furious 10's, Fast X's, budget continues to grow, with THR reporting that it is already nearing the 300 million market, even without marketing and or publicity spent. That's a lot of fucking money, man. That's a lot of money.
Why?
Well, these movies just cost a shit ton. I mean, apparently there's a lot of COVID stuff going on and everything like that, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we all have known that Vin Diesel's kind of a dick, and he's kind of like, at least from news reports and everything like that, he's kind of a dictator on set. I mean, him and The Rock went to blows. Now Rock's not a part of the franchise no more, so which is sad because The Rock
Really?
is.
I
Oh
didn't
yeah,
know that. Huh.
oh yeah, no, The Rock is. Well, Fast and Furious 10 is supposed to be the last one, quote unquote, supposed to be.
Let's hope so, because it needs to stop. It needs to die. It needs to be done. Final Fast and Furious movies just I checked out after like what I think like 6 or so,
6 was
and
good. 7 was
I
good.
mean
8
8 was
was
still good, but it
yeah.
wasn't a good Fast and Furious movie. I just thought it was a good action movie, just in general. So like Fast and Furious is like Assassin's Creed. It has definitely lost its identity and has just become a weird thing. That's how I feel about it. It's just weird now.
Yeah. I don't know. It's it's sad. It's I mean I'm still gonna go watch the 10th one when it comes out because it's me. Like I'm just gonna be there and I want to give my opinion on it. But I'm not expecting too much after 9. 9 just got lost in translation, man. And it should have been great. It had the return of one of the favorite characters in franchise history. Like the movie should have been great, but man, it was not. Before we move on to the next movie talk, I wanted to pull something up that's not on the script. In your movie, when you went to see Doctor Strange, did they have the trailer for Avatar 2 in there?
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up to you.
Yeah.
Actually, I forgot.
Yeah, surprised the shit out of me.
Yes.
I wasn't ready for it. That's one of the few times where it's gone to theaters first before it's gone to YouTube. Which, granted, I guess that's an outcome of being there day one. So, but yeah, when it started playing, I turned to Peyton and I was like, "Wait, what? Like, what the fuck?"
Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah. So they already said that they were like before the movie released, they said they were gonna have the first Avatar trailer with the like the Doctor Strange movie.
Oh
That was
yeah,
gonna be like one of
I
the teaser things.
I guess I missed that, or I just went blackout on the movie because I go media blackout on things a lot. You know that I try to ignore things.
I
So
still
nothing
was
gets spoiled.
surprised for some reason.
Yeah,
'Cause I
I
kinda
mean,
forgot, and then
it's
it still was like I was like, what?
it shocked me to a core. But anyway, it's a movie we're waiting 12 years for. Obviously, it's
About
just
damn time.
it's
That's all I gotta say.
it's a short trailer. It doesn't really do anything. Doesn't tell us anything about the story or anything. But I saw it. And I'm like, yep, I'm fucking there, guys. Like it looks amazing. I was confused because Sully doesn't look the same. Am I the one that realized that? Sully looked completely different, and I couldn't actually pick him out in the movie. And I couldn't find
Well, you couldn't?
I mean, I think I saw him, but to me, maybe I got to go back and watch it because I was kind of like shell shocked that I was actually seeing. Like, it didn't feel real that I was watching the trailer to Avatar
Oh, I
2.
know.
I was like, wait, am I actually watching this? Like, is this actually happening? So maybe I need to go back and watch it. But I thought I couldn't see him, but maybe that was just
He
me
was
not.
only in like a few scenes. Like it
Yeah,
wasn't a
see,
lot. Like, it
yeah,
was very small scenes he was in. But like you see him like with the his
he's like
I
gun
guess
and all
wife
that.
now.
His gun
Yeah,
and
and he
all
has
that.
a
Yeah,
yeah.
I can't wait for this fucking movie, dude.
Oh, I'm excited too,
I am
but like,
so
why
fanboying.
did they take so long to make this movie? 12 years.
Well,
12
it was
years, man.
originally
That's
supposed to come
crazy.
out in 2016,
Yeah.
and then James Cameron said, "F it, I'm gonna shoot all 3 of them back to back to back." Oh wait, maybe it's all 4 of them now at this point. I don't know. It's something. He said he's gonna essentially shoot and create the entire Avatar saga all at once. So they wrote all the scripts, and now they're shooting all the movies, and that obviously got delayed, and then COVID hit, which delayed it probably a couple more years. So now we're finally getting it 12 years later. And I think there was a part of it that he said, that Cameron said he wanted the technology to advance forward enough that would have the same cultural impact that the first movie did. Well, I don't think that's possible at all. I don't think it's possible to have the same cultural impact. I mean, that movie revolutionized 3D movie viewing, and then 3D movies were driven into the dirt
Yeah.
like Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed. But I mean that movie revolutionized visual effects and 3D productions. So, and I don't think there's any way you could really do that again. I mean, the movie looked beautiful. The trailer looked incredible, but like, there's a lot of things that look really good, you know?
Yeah, it's
So,
just I hope they don't if they are gonna make a third one, please don't wait another 12 years. Please.
oh no.
Because
Like,
like dang.
he said they're all being written and shot back to back to back.
Yeah.
Very similar to like the Lord of the Rings movies. So the goal here is once the first one comes out, well, I guess technically once the second one comes out, then we get year gaps So we get 2, then a year, then 3, then a year, then 4, and then if I remember right, I think there's 5. It could have been 3, could have been 4 new ones. I don't remember. But apparently, once the first one starts to roll out, the other ones will roll out on yearly spaces. Whatever. I can't think of what I'm trying to say. That's
gonna be exciting.
Yeah, super excited. I mean, it could suck. It could be like, they made a decision in the first movie that we didn't like, and now they can't change it because they've already shot the second movie. So we just kind of gotta sit through it. So that is the good and bad of shooting things back to back to back, just like the Lord of the Rings movies and the Hobbit movies. Like, if something went wrong, there's not much they can do to change it because the rest of it's already in film. So let's hope. I have high hopes for it, just because I want to see it. So I can't wait for it.
Yeah, I'm excited for it too. And it looks like some heavy action is about to go down. Some interesting twists with like what it looks like is some of them to attack them, I guess is what I was seeing. And I guess there's like human people that are like docile and like caveman like. I don't know.
Yeah,
A lot of questions.
It looked weird.
I'm really
Also,
excited for it.
we have no clue how much time has passed.
That's
I mean,
true.
obviously
it's definitely been a while.
Obviously the Na'vi live way longer than humans do. So theoretically, this could be 50 years in the future from when the first one happened.
Yeah.
So we have no clue. I'm excited to sit down in theaters. I believe it comes out in December. Man, I cannot.
Oh, I can't wait to.
It feels so unbelievable that I'm like, all right, I'm sitting here watching the trailer to Avatar 2.
Something I never thought was going to happen.
When that first movie came out, I was I was in my senior year in high school. You were a lot younger, but I was a senior year in high school. Man, that was a long time ago. Shit was great. All right, moving on. A new trailer for the House of Dragon, the new Game of Thrones. You've watched Game of Thrones, right? I put this in here because Yeah, okay.
You know my opinion.
Yes, I know. I could have sworn that, but like I was writing this up, and I was like, I'm pretty sure he's seen. We talked about how shit Game of Thrones we got, but anyway, the new trailer for House of Dragon came out. Did you get a chance to see it? If you have, Logan, what did you think? Because I saw it and I was like, yep, this looks pretty fucking cool.
I have not seen it.
Okay, well,
I know I seen that the trailer popped up on my YouTube when I was looking at it the other day and forgot. I just never clicked on it. I'm also not really excited anymore what they did at the end of Game of Thrones, so
I wasn't either,
but I'm just not really excited because no matter what, I know how this all and it ends horribly.
Well,
so
okay, again, I will always maintain the stance that the events that happen aren't the bad part of the Game of Thrones. It's the way that the events were showed and told are the terrible parts. If you put the exact same events and you stretch everything out through 2 seasons and give it enough room to breathe and the characters enough room to develop, people aren't as mad. Also, spoiler alert for the end of Game of Thrones, Bran is a shit character in the show, much better character in the movie. I'm not excusing that. Sorry, much better character in the books. He's literally one of, if not the main character in the books, and you learn a lot more about him. I'm not excusing that. The show should have done a much better job of incorporating that storyline into it. But also, we don't even know if that's the actual story. Because Martin's old ass still hasn't written the 6th book, so... You want to know what's crazy?
Honestly, I wish there was something where, like how they did the Sonic change. There needs to be a thing where they just remake the last season.
Well, again, I think they need to remake it in a different way. I think they, the first 3, there's 2 different storylines. There's the Walker storyline, which comprises the first 3 episodes, and then there's obviously the Battle for the Throne, which comprises the last 3 episodes. Both of those storylines should have been their own season.
Yeah. Or just written by better people that didn't make dumb decisions.
Here's the thing: those guys know how to write. They wrote the first 7 seasons.
Well, clearly they didn't because they're too lazy to finish the last season.
No, it's
pathetic. That last season was what it was. Come on.
It had 1 good episode and 1 okay episode. The second episode is fucking phenomenal. God, that second episode is so good. I
like the first 2 episodes because it was like, okay, it's building up to something big. The thing we've been waiting for how many seasons? 7?
And then there was 1 episode. The Battle of Winterfell should have been said. That whole storyline and that whole build-up should have been a whole season.
And the plot armor was unbelievable. I mean,
the Battle of Winterfell should have been 2 episodes. But anyway, all that aside, I'm still a fan of the books first and foremost. I mean, the show got me into it, but I read the books, so I know that there's still a chance that everything gets fixed. So
You think he's gonna finish it? I don't think he is.
I mean,
He's gonna die and never finish
you
the
want to know what's
series.
crazy, and this is one thing that I love telling people. In the books, from what we got right now, Jon Snow's still dead. We have no clue if
Yeah, no,
Jon.
I heard that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, just like season 5, book 5 ends with Jon Snow's death, and we have no clue, book fans, if he actually comes back or not. I mean, the show brought
What's
him
really
back.
funny too is the books ended when the first season. Well, first season of Game of Thrones like came out, I think a month or so before the last book,
Yeah,
and there
yeah.
hasn't been another book
Book
since.
5 came out in 2011, and we're still fucking.
Yeah.
We're waiting almost as long as a book as we waited for Avatar 2. You know what, James Cameron and George R. R. Martin, fuck off and quit taking so
Yeah,
long.
they must be in like a group of like, all right,
Yeah, we're like, hey, we're just
let's
gonna
make our fans wait 12 years to
Yeah.
get the next part of the story.
And then you got George Martin typing like, I don't know, man, I'm feeling kind of bad. And Cameron's like, you can't fucking die, man. We're trolling everybody.
You know, my question is, what did George R. R. Martin do for Elden Ring? Because I would like to know. Because I don't know.
I think he helped build like the world and the lore and all that behind it. Just like
I mean, I see some of the things like the throne in that. I kind of seen a little bit.
well,
Of, like,
I think just like the ideas behind things, just like R.A. Salvatore helped build the world and the lore of Kingdoms of Amalur, and then the actual studio itself made the game. The writer just brought in is like, hey, this is what the lore kind of be. This is what the backstory of the world should be. It just so happens that Kingdoms of Amalur is
I will say
a story game, and
another spoiler alert. Elden Ring story is definitely probably the most story out of all, other than Sekiro.
Yeah, but it's still not story though.
Well, there's actually quite a bit you get throughout the game. Not trying to ruin anything. So,
well, I mean, I'm not gonna play it, so I don't give a shit.
You should.
I'm not going
we'll
to
talk
ever.
about it when I get. You should.
All right. Anyway, you should watch this trailer. Those of you who, if you're like me and you don't like the ending of Game of Thrones, but you still realize that we had 7 amazing seasons of Game of Thrones. Some people don't like season 7. I still think it's great. Yes, it expedites.
I like season 7.
Yes, it expedites things and it doesn't make it as long-winded, which I love the long-windedness of the first 5 seasons. But I still enjoy 6 and 7 for what they are. I still think they're really good character stories. But for those of you who like that, strap in, man, because this is a story that I think is going to be super, super cool. I mean, it's dealing with the Targaryens first and foremost, and only the Targaryens, the entire story of what life was back then. And I think it's going to be cool. They've also announced the first season's 10 episodes, so we're getting full HBO seasons again. Thank God. So I'm excited. Very excited. And there's also some other live action and animated shows in production. A couple of them called The Sea Snake, The 10,000 Ships, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, which that one's the only one that sounds actually real, and then The Golden Empire. Anyway, you should watch it. The trailer's really good, actually. The trailer sets the scene, and I'm like, yeah, we're getting some good shit. One more trailer reaction before we get into the final news of the week. Obi-Wan got a new trailer, and let me tell you what, it's pretty good. Did you watch it?
Oh, I did.
Yeah, we got a little breathing. We got a little deep breaths going on.
I know.
You got a little
that amazing roast.
You got a little.
That's all over the internet right now.
You got a little open. There's Vader in it, if you guys don't realize what I'm trying to do here.
Yeah.
Darth Vader is in the trailer. You don't see him, you just hear him.
Yeah.
It's great, though.
But did you like the roast, though? The roast in the middle of the trailer?
Yes. It's very good.
Yeah, I love it. It's so good. I'm so excited for this show. I'm also very worried at the same time because Book of Boba Fett was not the greatest. So
still haven't watched yet, but
they had a streak going with Mandalorian. They had Book of Boba Fett come out, and it was disappointing. So I want Obi-Wan to be so good, so bad, because I've been waiting for this for like ever, and I'm really excited for it. And I mean, come on, to bring in Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen.
Hayden.
Yeah.
What'd you just call him?
Never mind. Don't worry about it. I said Hayden.
What the hell did you call him? You said 80?
I said
80.
Aiden on accident.
Oh, Aiden. Oh, is that,
Yeah, I
okay.
meant Aiden.
I thought you butchered it way worse than that. That's not that bad of a
No,
butcher.
no, I knew it was something. I was like some Aiden or Hayden Christensen, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
watched
and I mean, I'm so excited for that.
the other day on YouTube. I ran into his first acting performance of all time, and I watched like 30 minutes of it. Do you know what his first acting performance of all time was?
What was it?
It's one of the Goosebumps movies.
Really?
Oh yeah, there's this joke because he's awful in it. There's this joke that George Lucas was watching Goosebumps one day, and he was like, "Yep, that's the kid's gonna play Darth Vader." Oh, dude, have you not seen that? Oh my God, I am sending you that video. It's great. Anyway, yes, I am excited. Darth Vader's in it. One thing that I did hear, and I wanted to ask you if you are expecting this or if you think this would be something that you would like. There's rumors that there could be a video game crossover in this series because it takes place at the same time as the story of Cole Kestis.
It does seem to work that way with some of the sisters and all that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, the sisters are in there, but do you think we get a live action Cole Kestis?
I could see it.
That'd be kind of cool. I mean,
It would be pretty cool.
They modeled the character in game very closely to the actual dude who voices him. So,
I mean, he looks exactly like his actual acting thing. Yeah, so you could easily just put him in there. Boom.
I don't know if I would like that or not, but I think it's a cool idea.
I kind of like it because I would like to see more video game crossover stuff. I mean, the most video game crossover thing I've seen in Star Wars is they brought the Clone Commandos in for a short little scene in the Clone Wars series, and that shit was so cool. Even though we barely seen anything of them, we didn't get to see them in action. It was just amazing to see that they put the Commandos in there in Clone Wars. Like that killed me. I was so excited for that. So if they're willing to do that, maybe he'll be in there as a little Easter egg, or maybe he'll have a little part in it. I don't know how deep he's going to be in there as a character, but who knows?
All right. Well, we'll see in only a couple weeks now, right?
Yeah, I think it comes out in. I think it comes out next month, doesn't it? Yeah, I think it does.
Yeah, because it got delayed like 1 week, so instead of the last week of May.
Yeah, because it was originally supposed to come out on May 4th, and it got pushed back.
Well, no, it got pushed back to the end of May, and then it got pushed back by 1 week for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why you delayed something for 1 week, but whatever.
That 1 week could help.
I guess so. Okay, last story / little thing. After 100 days of shooting and over 3,000 shots, James Gunn has announced that Guardians of Volume 3 has officially wrapped filming. Yay!
I'm very excited.
Dude, I can't wait, dude. I cannot wait.
My favorite movies in the franchise. Well, not my favorite, but I think
it's the only movies in the franchise.
I think both of them have been so freaking good.
Yeah, they're great.
I'm really excited for the third one.
Unfortunately, it is also sad because this is probably the last one. I mean,
I guarantee it.
Yeah, Gunn's done after this one. Batista's done after this one. I mean, I'm sure they'll still be in, like Chris Pratt and all that are still going to be in different movies and all that. But this is probably the last time we get a full-fledged Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Granted, I mean, I guess Love and Thunder can probably be considered a Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they're going to be in there.
It's Guardians 2. Yeah, it's Guardians 2.5. So
yeah.
Anyway, I can't wait. I'm super excited.
Let's just hope they don't pull Doctor Strange and actually do a sequel. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's James Gunn.
Yeah.
To be fair, I thought Sam Raimi would do more. To be fair, Sam Raimi made a movie that Sam Raimi wanted to make. It just wasn't the movie that
what people were wanting.
Yeah, it's not the movie that we wanted him to make. Especially I wanted him to make. Anyway, I'm gonna quit shitting on Doctor Strange because it's really not that. It's not terrible. It's just not.
It's just not great.
Yeah, doesn't do anything like monstrously bad. It just also doesn't really do anything spectacularly great either.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, that, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately brings us to the end of our news segment. It was a long one. There was a lot we got through. But if you have any reaction to anything we talked about, whether that be what you think Square Enix is going to do. Are you excited about Final Fantasy? Do you hate World War II as much as Activision says you do? And what do you think about that new Snapchat drone? Please let us know in the comments on our Patreon page. Write in. We will answer any questions you have for us. Going on now, we're going to go to the final couple segments of the show, the review roundup for last week's games. On May 3rd, Dungeon Defenders Awakening came out on PS4 and got a 75. Loot River came out on Xbox Series X and S and PC and got a 75. Dungeon Defenders got a 74. I read that wrong. Sorry. On May 5th, Citizen Sleeper came out on Xbox Series X and X, Switch, and PC and got an 83. Warhammer 40k Chaos Gate Daemon Hunters came out on PC and got an 83. Rift Track the Game came out on Xbox Series X and X, PS5, PS4, Switch, and PC and got a 76. And Trek to Yomi came out on PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, and PC and got a 73. Now, Logan. Are you going to play any of these? Do you have any crazy reactions? Trek to Yomi, about what I thought I was going to get. 73 is a good score. It's not a great score. It's not a bad score. It's a good game. Landed about what I expected it to be.
Yeah, you got to play it. It's on Game Pass.
Yes, I know it's on fucking Game Pass.
Yeah,
but I have to.
Game Pass.
I got to buy Game Pass, but I don't want to waste my money on a lesser service when PS Plus is right around the corner.
Okay, all right now.
Woo!
Let's see when it comes out.
Oh, it's not gonna be better. It's entirely different. So realistically, it's not trying to be the same thing. Anyway,
I still want to play Sifu. That's pretty much the only game I really play.
Yeah,
I do want to try out, but I'm not really.
I didn't say Sifu because it didn't have a score. Because it's just a re-release of the game. So, but
yeah,
it's $40. I forgot that I spent $40 on the game and didn't even get past the second level.
Well, now you can. The difficulties are in there.
I don't want to though. I want to beat the game the way it was intended because it's like
or just go easy.
I can't. I'm just gonna quit.
It's too hard for you.
Yes. I didn't really I didn't really sit down and learn. The game wants you to learn how to do things, how to take out enemies, unlock all these other things. And I just didn't really put in the time that much, if I'm being honest. I was doing other stuff, and then Horizon was right around the corner, and I only had a week to play Sifu, so I just kind of quit. I gave up on it fairly quickly because fucking Horizon. But I wasn't actually fucking Horizon. That would be weird.
Yeah, it'd be kind of weird.
Yeah. Didn't even come with a game. That was my biggest letdown with the collection edition I got. Didn't even come with a physical version of the game. It really sucked.
Yeah, because then I would have just asked you for it so I could play it then.
It came with a game case. I got this really sweet looking steel case, but I didn't actually get a disc, which is weird, but whatever. I still got something to display on the shelf. Any other reactions?
No, not really.
Out this week on May 10th, Euden Chronicle Rising, the sequel to the game. The prequel to the game that's coming out next year, comes out on Xbox Series X and X and PC. Salt and Sacrifice, the sequel to the Soulsborne 2D side-scroller Salt and Sanctuary, comes out on PS5, PS4, and PC. This War of Mine Final Cut, a release of a game that came out a long effing time ago, comes out on PS5, not PS4, just PS5, Xbox Series X and S. Unpacking, a game that comes out on PS5, PS4. What was that? And then on May 13th, Evil Dead the Game comes out on PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Switch, and PC, also known as Logan's next Fantasy Critic game.
Yep.
Real quick, have you ever played, well, probably not because Unpacking was only for PC, man, but dude, I'm telling you, you need to play Unpacking. It's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah. Maybe when it's like a few bucks or if it's free.
I'm pretty sure it was like $4.99 when I bought it on Steam.
I have other games that I want to purchase right now.
Dude, it's $4.99.
Yeah, but there's better games that I want to play.
Dude, this game takes like 3 hours.
If it comes to Game Pass, I'll try it then.
It's not releasing.
I know. Maybe if it comes to, well, actually, I probably won't be paying for that.
Oh, hold up, man. Hold on. It's getting a physical release by Limited Run Games. Hold up. I'm about to buy this right now. Uno Momento. I might be making some moves. Shit, there's a lot of Sam & Max games coming out. Why the fuck are so many Sam & Max games coming out? Have you ever looked on Limited Run? Whoa,
Yeah,
there
it's
was
pretty cool. My
a
brother's got a few of them.
dude. There's a new Star Wars: The Force Unleashed for Switch Master Edition. Hold on, let me check this out.
That's pretty cool.
Let me see. Is this good enough? Yeah, it's pretty fucking cool. Comes with a lightsaber. Don't know how big the lightsaber is, but there's a lightsaber on it. Hold on, let me see. Starkiller
Oh,
miniature
that is pretty
hilt
freaking
replica.
cool.
Dude, yeah. I mean, it's $175.
Yeah, I mean, it better be really cool.
Dude, but
Well, there's a premium edition too. You can go down. There's a premium, and that's $90.
well, yeah, I know, but it doesn't come with all the cool shit.
That's fair.
I mean, bro, dude, this comes with a premium edition foil stamped box. Let's go. You know me. I always keep the boxes. Uh, it comes with a holocron. Said it comes with a miniature Starkiller lightsaber. Comes with steelbook. You know me. I love my steelbooks. Reversible posters, bruh. Am I about to buy this? No, it's $175. I ain't buying it. I ain't got that much
Let's
money.
bring this to an end.
Hold on. I gotta find
too
my.
off.
I gotta find my game I was looking for. Give me 1 second, then I'll wrap it up. What did I come on here for? I came on here for
the unpacking game or whatever.
oh fuck. I'll figure it out later. Okay.
Yeah, unpacking.
I couldn't find it. Where was it?
I don't even know where you found it either. 'Cause it's not.
I'll figure it out later. Maybe it's like a ways out. They just oh bro, cat lateral damage remastered is coming. I tried to platinum this game last year. It's a terrible game. 35 $34.99. What the hell? It's like $10 online. That's a ripoff. It's not really a ripoff because like these games, are worth a lot of money because they only come out once. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of our show. Everyone who has either been watching and or listening, we just wanted to take this time and thank you from the bottom of the space where our hearts are supposed to be, but unfortunately it's a black hole. Without your support, we could not do what we're trying to do here. Please help us continue to grow by telling everyone how awesome we are, or if you don't like us, tell them how terrible we are, but please tell them to listen either way. Here at the XP Podcast, brought to you by The Experience Point, we would really appreciate any sort of feedback. Logan, any last words? Not
yeah.
before you die, just like the podcast.
Oh, of course.
Okay.
I'd like to thank my family. Yeah, as always, thanks for stopping by. Hope you guys are all having a great day. Summer's around the corner, so that means more time for games.
Yeah.
More times for fun things,
It's backlog seeking. It's backlog season.
Backlog seeking.
Seeking.
All right, see you guys.
All right. Once again, thank you everyone for listening and following along with us. I hope everyone has a great week, and we'll talk to y'all in the next one. See you guys.
See you.